Give me that again.
Do you know the Muffin Man?
There it is. The whole world gets to hear it.
Welcome.
So we know how snackies?
No snackies.
I'll share my chicken noodle soup with you.
That's not snacky.
There's chips behind you.
I know there's chippies.
But
When did
chippies
you
are
open
loud.
those?
You have to ask him. Yesterday, I think. They've not been open the whole time.
No, they haven't been open the whole time.
How long have they been open today?
I was eating them earlier while we were on VR.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Have you guys
Watching
ever,
a movie.
Have you guys ever been to Main Event?
Like the haircut in place?
It's kind of like a David Buster's.
Oh, no.
Kind of cool. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. That's where I went yesterday.
You know, this is pretty cool.
Is that why you got sick now?
Maybe. There's a lot of kids there.
Mm.
Ew.
Yeah.
This is pretty cool.
Listener discretion is advised.
Ah.
Listener discretion is advised.
You are now free to clog your ear holes. Clog your ear holes.
Hello
Aye.
and welcome. I think to the fuck's the name of this thing?
I don't know.
Don't worry about
Something.
it.
Yeah, I won't. There is
Callie.
yep, and that's my beautiful wife,
The snackless one.
the snackless one. I'm not even gonna ask you because you don't reciprocate.
It's a very unloving relationship.
Yeah, from him. Yeah, to me. I take the time out of my day to introduce you, right? Because I care about you. And in return, I get this,
You must have said I love you too many times.
probably.
At least he's listening.
I almost got
Yeah,
it.
I don't think he is listening. I think the only reason he started laughing is because he farted and it tickled.
He's got the noodles.
He's shoving nudes in his mouth.
So what is
One time.
what is the game like? Do you remain absolutely silent until we get past this portion of it? Is that the goal?
We're only on episode 5022, and it's been that way the entire time.
But we've never
What's the
asked him.
cutoff? What's the
true.
cutoff for like you being able to talk though? Is it just as soon as I leave this spot right here that we're in now? Oh, I heard a fork that came from Ghost over there.
Anyways, these are some really nice headphones.
What do you got?
They're Beats. But they're
Oh.
really old. Like, they're like 10 years old.
Well, you asked about the ones that were here. You didn't pull them down?
No, because I can't hear anything out of them half the time. So I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to go grab the
Oh,
Beats that I
they're
brought.
that broken?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, I don't know if you noticed, but I'll sit here, I'll take them off, and I'll wiggle the wire around a little bit and then put them back on halfway through.
I thought you were doing that just because you were bored.
And that's
No.
Ghost, everyone.
Nope, that was because they didn't want to work.
Did we
I think
catch
my
an
stand's
EVP?
almost dead.
We did.
If
Your stand?
yeah, I think it's almost dead.
I feel like you're just,
Just
being
tighten
picky.
it.
I've been tightening it.
Well,
it just
you
kind of like
stripped it.
your mom stripped
Looks
it.
perfectly fine.
I went to IKEA yesterday too. They have
what?
stands there.
You
I
did that
know.
without her?
Fucking bitch.
I took Sweet Pea for the first time. He has never seen an IKEA before.
Oh God, I can only.
should've
Did you
taken
take
us
him and
both.
get him Swedish meatballs?
How far did he
No.
make it through before he like passed out from?
Well, he made the comment about like seeing a TikTok and he finally understands it. There's this guy that goes through TikTok. His wife finally got him to go, and he was like, "I finally realized like halfway through IKEA." He was like, "I just realized how gay I was halfway through." He's like, I guess it was like something like you're just like seeing all this different decorations. You're like, yes, that would look so good.
The worst part is when Alyssa and I go through IKEA, We don't give a shit about the decorations. It's like, ooh, that would be functional. That would be functional.
That's how I am.
yeah.
Can confirm.
These meatballs are really good.
Yes.
Yes, that is also a part of it.
I've
I
also
gave
never been to
him-
IKEA.
I go to IKEA just to
You can
stick
come
balls
with
in
us
my
next
mouth.
time. But I did this
You extend an
purposefully.
invitation to him, but
And you can all come. But I purposely made it to
One
where
big
we
happy
got there
family
like
coming together.
2 hours before we had to meet up with Bree, my friend, to like go to the main event thing.
Oh, and you saw Brie?
Yeah.
Wow.
We went on a double date with her boyfriend.
Is he hot?
did I hear a knock on the door?
I don't know. Did you? I ignored it.
Did you ignore it or did you not hear it?
I don't
I
know.
didn't hear it.
My brain might have ignored it automatically.
I don't see a shadow outside the door. I think we're good.
But so I purposely made it to where we
I
got
heard
it
that
a
time.
certain amount of time. Nope.
Y'all are hearing shit.
A certain amount of time so that we only had a limited amount of time to be in the store.
That's a mistake when you go to IKEA.
I know, but I did it so we wouldn't spend. We went there for an hour. We spent $200.
On
You
one
actually
thing.
spent money?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like I
Oh.
knew it was gonna happen with him because he was gonna be like, I want that, and I want that, and I want that.
He really is gay, isn't he?
Partially,
No.
It's been known, bro.
but we got two like little rugs for next to our bed so that like you don't have to like de-season your feet with your hand, you know, or with your own feet.
D-season.
Yes,
She has said that before.
yeah, I have.
On the podcast.
I have.
You know,
This
Some
season, I
people-
think.
prefer the seasoning in their bed.
Those
Nobody
people are
prefers
mad.
that.
It
No.
exfoliates while you sleep.
Ew.
No.
What,
that's just
exfoliates your
wrong.
asshole?
Yeah.
No.
Everybody has the same idea. You de-season your feet and then you get in the bed.
Except for those fuckers who wear socks to bed.
Fuck those people.
There's still seasoning on the socks,
Yeah, but they don't de-season those socks because they
supposed to.
can't feel it.
but it's nice because now we have rugs on each side of the bed and they're really, really soft. So we just kind of rub our feet on them
Yeah?
and then get in the bed.
So you spent $200 on rugs?
No, the rugs were only $50 each.
How
and then
big
we
were
bought a new toilet bowl brush.
I was going to say a toilet broiler. That
Yeah.
doesn't sound...
It
That's
cleans
for
it
whenever
very
he
well.
spreads his cheeks.
Yeah, it's like a
Keeps
seat
it
warmer.
warm.
Yeah.
And then what else did we buy? Oh, he wanted a. You know how my desk has those two drawers?
Like the
on
little
that
filing
holds
cabinets?
a-
Yeah.
yeah. So he wanted one that to match mine, so we went and bought him one just to put underneath his desk that I bought for him.
Aww. That's cute.
Yeah. I bought the desk for $20. It's very nice.
So you spent $200 on nothing.
Exactly. That's why we needed a limit on IKEA. It's
Well,
very
yeah.
easy to spend hundreds of dollars there.
Yeah, but everything's so cheap. So, like...
But that's the problem.
What?
You're sitting there like, oh, it's only $10.
And like, what
Oh, it's
rugs
only
did you buy
$5.
where it's $50 a pop? Because I think we spent less than that at the ones we got at Lowe's.
Well, probably, but
They were on sale.
Yeah, I was gonna say your rugs were on sale.
yeah, and also
I need rug.
they were like the perfect size and they're gray, like the perfect color,
Yeah.
and they were so soft, like so soft.
Eh.
You'd
You-
fall in love with them if
you
you,
don't
came
have
over and rubbed your
dogs.
feet on them.
What time's IKEA close?
I have cats.
I think
Yeah,
8.
but
All right, bye guys.
You don't have enough time for IKEA.
And we
to
also went to
truly
Sam's Club.
appreciate it.
I'm just gonna go to get a rug and whatever they have at the lunch area.
lunch area is
Swedish
pretty
meatball.
decent.
He was blown away by the he calls them buggies, the buggies.
Yeah.
Um,
How big they are?
No, how they work with the escalator.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Whenever you go to leave,
They have escalators.
Specifically
for your cart.
The
it
fuck?
locks the cart onto the escalator so it doesn't roll down the.
I want
The
to go to
slope.
fucking IKEA.
And then the fact that they can move
Sideways?
sideways.
Yeah.
He started pushing one and he was like, "What the fuck?" And he just started. He's like, "I'm drifting."
It can make cornering a bit difficult if you don't realize what it does.
It can. Yes.
It can.
But he was having fun drifting around the corners. So.
Yeah.
And I don't know what he called it, but like crip walking or something.
You know
like
what's
that.
fucked up about
I don't
this
know.
more than anything is if I had ever invited Ghost here to IKEA with us, he'd have been like,
No.
no, fuck that.
No. You guys always invite me to fucking Sam's Club or some shit. I don't want to go to Sam's Club. I want to go to IKEA. I have talked about going to IKEA.
The best.
Have you ever heard him say anything about going to IKEA?
I've never heard him say, because we'd leave your ass here and we'd go to IKEA.
Okay, well, I also don't want to go spend like 12 hours in IKEA.
It's
first
easy
off.
to do.
I don't want to.
Alyssa
do that.
doesn't even like spending
But
very long in there.
last time you
I don't
guys went to
either.
IKEA, you talked about the food court and all the food they had, and I was like, bro, I want to go to IKEA to get food.
I don't remember this.
Can't you,
'cause
like,
you
get
don't
the food
remember
and walk
anything. You
through
don't
with
You
it?
sure you didn't say that in your head?
So.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. You just don't care to remember the things I say to you.
is that what it is?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
what'd you say?
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is why I'm starting to become a believer.
Of Justin?
So, ew.
Justin Belieber?
Ew.
All right, I have a question
Suicide.
for all of you.
Us or the listeners?
Yes, I have.
You,
things.
Okay.
fucking listeners can't respond to me. I can't
They
get an
can
answer from
eventually.
them. They don't. They never fucking
They
give us
never
the
do.
answers. Ever. Garrett.
They just
Thanks,
think
Garrett.
that- that's it.
I'm going to make the Jesus cross thing on my chest for you.
He only does it about like one every 4 questions, though.
Yeah.
Bring them. numbers
Garrett,
up,
you're called out right now.
Just saying.
Give me a profession that you've done that you would never do again.
So what's the question?
Well, goddamn, bro. That was immediate.
She's got a headache. It fell out of her
Yeah.
head.
If what fell out of her head, her
Filter's
fucking
broken
brain?
today.
The question.
Just filter. I just took it off. And
A profession
left it
that
at
you've
home.
done that you would never do again.
Probably the 911 dispatch.
Really?
Probably. Not because it was a shitty job. It's just very mentally taxing.
Was it the calls coming in, or was it the coworkers? Like,
No, it was more like the amount of stuff you have to do all at the same time. The multitasking part of it, which I'm decent at multitasking, but it's to the extreme whenever you're doing it there. And then also, of course, the calls, because you never know what kind of call you're going to get.
huh?
It's stuck. Stuck where, sir? In my butthole.
Just got to type out everything that's being said.
Everything.
Really?
Oh, I would lose my
Everything.
job.
You got to type it out as they're saying it.
Yes, because you want it to be on the, I don't know what it's called, the website. So whenever the police officer is like pulling it up on his computer, he can see everything that's happening or being said.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like, so he
If
knows
only
what
they
he's
made
going
a
into,
technology
or
like
she.
talk to text or something. I think it's something like that. Like,
See, I'd be sitting there with my phone.
Well,
that's what I would call
that,
it.
and it's also for like records. So like if something happens, it's on record of what happened.
Yeah, if only they had another thing called recording software.
They do that too.
Oh,
They just want to be able to know, like, did we give the correct information to the police officer? Did the police
No.
officer use that information?
No, you sent him 6
they
blocks
never
away,
use
whole
that
family's
information.
dead.
They're like, there's a cat stuck in a tree. They show up with guns drawn. Where's this fucking burglar?
No.
Where's this pussy at?
Guns drawn. Cat in a tree. I'm gonna get him fucking down. That's for sure.
That's only the cops in our area.
Sets the tree on fire.
But yeah, I would say that one. I mean, there's probably a couple more that I could say.
Ghost.
What's the matter, pussy? Don't like fire?
Well, first off, I would get so fired from that job because I can't type fast.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
See, I just misspell a lot of
click,
things.
click, 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 backspace, backspace, click, 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 click.
Hang on, caller.
Backspace.
I'm on the
Because like,
last caller.
while you're also doing that, you're also talking to, you know, whoever you're dispatching, so the ambulance or fire truck or the police officer. So while you're on the phone with this person trying to get all the information, you're also trying to dispatch whatever they need to the scene.
So you got to get on the radio and dispatch it as
It's
well.
just like you have these like headphones with a little
Right.
microphone, and there's like a button on it that you can click back and forth.
Gotcha.
Click, click, click,
See, that's why you just do like all the ones I've ever gotten, where it's like, "Hi, I'm calling. What's your emergency?" And you start telling them, and then once you're done, they're like, "Okay, sir. Where are you at? What's happened?" And it's
Well-
like, I just told you all of this
Right.
information.
But we have to, before anything, we have to know exactly where the emergency. I say like I still have this job, but the first thing you have to get is where it's at, so you can immediately start dispatching people there. So
yeah,
if you're
just in case
flooding
the
me with
call
all
gets
the-
disconnected or something.
Yeah. So if you're flooding me with all
Why?
the information, oh my
but
god!
why? What did that do for you?
Everything I needed.
You wanted to
it
be like us.
I was wondering what, like, it wouldn't move the way I needed it to earlier.
Gotcha.
And then I realized it was upside down. Anyways, continue.
But yeah, I don't know what I was saying.
You're welcome,
And
audience.
this is why she's no longer a 911 dispatcher.
Correct. Oh yeah, but I remember.
Okay.
And they're dead.
Yeah, it's gone. I don't remember.
No. Ghost?
I mean, honestly, I've never really had.
Why don't you tighten that up? Huh? if you tighten it.
I've actually never had a huge variety of jobs. I've just worked factory. I worked one fast food, and then now I truck. But I'd probably say fast food.
Where did you work fast food?
I worked at Hardee's for 3 years.
In Cuba?
No,
Yeah.
the same one I thought it was the same one I worked at.
Dude,
In
they
Potosi?
tore that down before I was able to work. You were like a couple years older than me, bro.
It wasn't before you were
Are
able
we
to
talking
work.
about the one in Sully?
No, motherfucker. I was like 25. Don't even give me that shit.
They didn't
you were
have.
not.
How old was I when I...
You were 20,
Which means you'd been 18.
which
Wasn't
means
I?
he would have been 16.
You're old enough to work? But that's when I
Potentially
worked
15.
there.
Oh,
Are you telling me they tore that down like right after I quit?
Yeah.
Must have been that lettuce on the wall.
Which is weird because
Probably.
They tried to clean it, just fell apart.
The whole building came down.
I've lived here since 2001, and the entire time I lived here, I never had Hardee's until I worked at Hardee's.
And then you ate too much of Hardee's.
And then I ate way too much Hardee's. and
So he tore the
it's-
building down.
Yeah, it was fucking
They
disgusting.
don't have Hardee's in Arkansas?
No.
You weren't like in a big town in Arkansas, though. You were in a small little town, though, weren't you?
I mean, I was in a big enough town to have, like, McDonald's and
They
Taco
put
Bell
McDonald's everywhere.
and Taco Bell.
And they put those everywhere.
McDonald's is kind of like Dollar General. It's in the most strange little towns that
Like-
makes no sense, but it's going to have McDonald's
But
in
then
a
when you
Dollar General.
need food the most and you're driving through absolute nothing towns,
They're not there.
there's nothing there. Not a Dollar General, not a McDonald's, not anything for like 30 miles.
Lyman, Colorado. You have 2 truck stops, a hotel, a McDonald's, and a Taco Bell.
Do they have a Dollar General?
No idea.
We got to know.
Huh.
I would never. I don't think I'd ever work fast food again. I don't mind factory work. It was easy and simple. Trucking, I kind of hate sometimes, but
I hate it a lot of the time, but it pays really well.
yeah, it's irritating.
Alyssa,
Childcare.
Mm-hmm.
are you talking about being a mother?
No.
There
No.
we go.
Prior to having children, I worked in.
Fuck.
Well, you also turned mine down.
No, you were too far away for it to pick up on.
Prior to being a mother, I worked in a special education preschool classroom, and I loved that job. And then I had children.
I'm sorry, real quick, not to interrupt you, but the fact that you're gripping the table with your dogs right now to hold the microphone.
I'm not even touching the
I know,
microphone.
but it looks like it. It looks like you're holding it to the table.
By dogs, she means toes.
Yes.
But
Toes.
Everybody else will know that.
do you know what they call them now?
Grippers?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How long has that been a thing?
not very long.
Okay.
Long enough.
So-
I mean, it makes sense. They're gripping
And
things.
your daughter's been calling them grippers for like the last like 2 years.
I hate it. I don't know why.
I mean,
Anyway, sorry, childcare.
I don't even like talking about it.
Is it because we have kids you couldn't do it now?
Yes. I'm not going to go to work where I get the option to be away from children to be with more children. It's already bad enough that I deal with a lot of patients that are childlike in
That's
nature.
understandable.
Yeah. I've been sitting here trying to think.
I'd never work with kids.
I don't recommend.
I would.
Actually, it wasn't, the job itself wasn't bad. It
I
was
don't-
just,
No, I would never work with kids.
they wouldn't let you.
Well, that probably. I mean, yeah, you're
It's
right.
the face tattoo.
But I'd also end up getting a lot of lawsuits for bitch slapping a child.
I think for me, the profession would be like laborer.
It's because you're a bitch.
Like going out there shoveling shit. And it's less about the work that you're doing and more of the mentality of the foreman.
I guess.
Like
Yeah.
nothing you do is ever good enough.
You just
You need to
follow
work
it.
harder.
Mm.
They're never like, damn, dude, you did a pretty good job. Like one of the jobs I can think of is when I was supposed to be hired in as a driver to move shingles, and they pick them up from our facility, take them out, you deliver them. Have you ever seen them with the conveyor belt, like that goes up to the roof, and you got to load them onto the conveyor belt, and somebody's on the roof and they like run it? to the ridges and like drop it off.
I've never seen it, but I
No,
can
see,
imagine.
you got to work at a fancy company. Most companies around here are just like, put them on your back, carry them up the ladder.
Like,
Don't be a bitch. Come on, pussy, get up here.
I couldn't do
God
it
damn,
anymore
you're
because of
fired.
my back at this point, but and probably anything construction related because of the whole fucking mentality that just goes into that. Like even when we were in the operators
Operators.
union,
Yeah.
there's just like this mentality like you got to be fucking manly.
That's why you go work with the Spanish folk.
Then you got to be drunk.
No,
Wow.
What?
there's
You
no
gotta like
politics.
I don't
beer.
know, but they got really good lunches.
I actually have a subject I want to talk about whenever we get to it. Sorry.
Are we allowed to?
Why wouldn't we be allowed to?
I don't know. I posted like 20 things in the thing last week, and
To be
you
fair,
asked me about one. That
You're
I couldn't
supposed to
remember
bring
the
up your
context.
topics.
You were holding the phone in your hand. We were talking about what topics. we
You
were gonna
bring up
talk
your
about.
topics.
And then we talked about another one, and you were just like, "Yeah, that's really expensive." Moving on.
Plus, last week was like almost a 2-hour episode.
Yeah. So which one of you is going first?
Go
So
for it.
This is Ghost, everybody. Well, DFWAI. Just kidding. I just now started it. This is Van. That's Callie. Just kidding. Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna leave.
goodbye. So, I work with a man.
Unbelievable.
Whoa, guys. Holy shit. Like a real one?
Shut the fuck up.
Oh, go ahead.
I work with a man, okay? He came to this country over 20 years ago with his family, okay? He went to school here. He pays taxes here. He owns several vehicles here. His daughter was born here, and she goes to school here. And his entire life here, he has struggled to become a legal American citizen because they make it so fucking hard.
Oh, the
He's here
hoops
on a
are
work
stupid.
visa. Like, how fucking ridiculous is that? He's a hard-working dude. His entire life is here, but at any point, if he decides to accidentally do something stupid, he can be deported immediately.
Mm-hmm.
That's so fucking stupid.
In that situation, this is an honest question. Since his kid has a
I
citizenship
asked him
here,
that too.
would she get deported too, or
No.
does she have to stay?
No, she's automatically.
She's
a citizen if
automatically
she's
in
born
America.
in America.
Yeah, if you're born in America, you're a citizen.
Right, I know that.
But was it Trump who changed the rule on that to where like it used to be if you had kids here, you became a citizen too, or something like that? I don't remember how that works.
I don't know.
But I know
think
that
it's if you give birth here. I don't know if
Okay.
you have. I
If
don't
you're
know.
automatically born, whatever soil you're born on, you are automatically a citizen of that country.
Right.
So that's why a lot of people have dual citizenship.
right.
If you are a mother of a child born here, you can't be deported. I don't know if it gives you citizenship, but they can't make
Separate
you
you.
leave because your child is an American citizen.
Gotcha. That's what I was asking.
Your
Has he tried
dependent
getting
child.
married to an American?
I mean, his sister's married to an American, so. But, so from the way I understand it, if he had family that was American citizenship, it would be a whole lot easier. Like, not his sister because she got married into one, but, like, it'd be a whole lot easier if he had, like, a cousin or an aunt or an uncle that was an American citizen.
He has a child.
I don't think that counts. I'm not fully sure. I talked to him about it one night after work, and I asked the same question, like, does that mean if you get deported, like, they keep your child or they send her with you? And he goes, it's kind of up to him. If he wants to take the child with him, she can go to Mexico with him. But if he doesn't want the child to go to Mexico, he can opt to have her, I guess, put in the system or stay with somebody else. Like,
That's
but he's
fucked.
been here for like 22 years,
Mhm.
21, 22 years, and he's he wants to go back to Mexico next year to visit family. And like, he was talking about having to go renew his like Mexican paperwork, his
Passport?
passport and shit. And I was like, hold on. I looked at him like, this is gonna sound really racist, probably. I'm like, are you an American citizen? And like, we had a whole conversation about like he's here on a work visa, and his family's been here on a work visa, but like they've tried and tried, and he said he's tried, and they just make it fucking completely impossible. So, like, he went to school here, and he was talking about, because you know how you have to do, like, that huge American test at
The Constitution test or whatever it is.
I guess.
Yeah.
And there was 2 people in his class who aced it and answered the bonus question, and he was one of them.
Really?
His history teacher was so pissed off because, like, none of the other students could, and like, they are born here, grew up here,
Yeah.
but he fucking aced it. And I was like, well, I mean, I hear that 90% Americans can't pass the test to become an American citizen.
Yeah.
That's true.
No.
The fucked up part is this rhetoric that's been put forth about
Sorry.
becoming a citizen, like the idea that you come here, you speak English, we're in America, and it's like, do you realize how America was formed?
People coming over from other countries,
Literally,
Europe.
not just Europe, but we were the melting pot of the world. At one point, this country's purpose was to take in people from all over the world,
Religious freedom.
religious freedoms, just freedoms in general, to like bring your culture and intertwine it with others' cultures and to create a society of people from all over the world that live in
Then again,
harmony.
Like, I think not saying that people should speak English, but I think it's kind of cool that the commonality between a lot of like nations on speaking, say like somebody from France was trying to speak to somebody from Japan. Usually, the common language
is
that everybody
English.
knows is English, and I think that's kind of cool.
Well, it's because over in Europe, all the countries are squished together. Like,
Yeah.
Europe is basically a country that's the size of, or a continent that's the size of our country.
So
You're
if
so close to everyone.
places like Asia want to speak to other countries, the dominant language is English.
Yeah, I just think it's cool that like 2 people that don't speak the same language don't even use one of those. They opt in for English.
I kind of want to hear a conversation between 2 other nationals that are using not their primary language, English, to communicate, and
That
to
would
see
be
if you
so
can follow
interesting.
along with what's going on in the
the same
conversation.
English?
But
Oh, I
as an
can't.
English speaker, yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
always annoys me, though, that, like, you're in America, speak English argument. We don't have an official language. America does not have a language.
Yeah.
English is not listed as our official language.
No, and that's what I'm getting at. It's like the states were this place where everybody could come from around the world, find freedom from tyranny or all this other shit, and
Not
just
anymore.
like over the years,
Is it tyranny or tyranny?
it's just,
Yes.
Okay, I just didn't know if my brain wasn't working.
Are you saying tyranny isn't a word?
I was confused.
I'm not.
Is there a difference between the words, or is it the
It's
same word?
Generally, tyranny.
Either way.
Okay.
They came here to find the difference or the difference between the 2. They came here to find freedom.
What's the difference between tyranny and tyranny?
They came here to find freedom from that, right?
One has
And now
ties,
this country is
one
like,
has tears.
well, we're a country and we got plenty of people. Let's start saying that we have history and cultures and keep other people out now. What?
It's it's weird to think about that because I'm sure other countries at some point were like that too, but we are like the youngest country. We are the youngest country. So,
But it's like now our head's gotten so swollen
no,
as
I
a
know.
country.
I'm just saying, like at some point, like Germany could have been the exact same way, where they were like, we have our own. But like us looking back now, they do have history because they've been around for so long.
Like untraceable history. Like,
Right.
do they even know the
Eventually-
first settlers into Germany at this point? Do they tell stories of the first settlers into
Right.
Germany?
And eventually America
sure they
could
do.
get to that point after so many years, but like we're at the point right now where we know all of that history, so
We're still in our selfish
We
toddler
think
stage.
we
Yeah.
know all that history.
we
The shit they teach
Correction, we
in
think.
public
Yeah.
schools is not the true history.
Right.
But
No,
it's like
not
this
at all.
brainwashing machine that's literally trying to make everything seem like a Disney story.
Well,
which
it is a Disney story. Have you ever seen Pocahontas? Clearly.
I mean Germany with their history, they don't even talk about it.
Well, that's funny because we have a German friend and we were talking to like people will like
I wonder why.
if they meet a German, like people from the U.S. and even other countries, if they meet somebody from Germany, the first thing they start joking about is Hitler. But a lot of people don't realize if you joke about that in Germany, you're going to prison.
Yeah.
Like the freedom of speech is not a thing in those countries, and if you start talking about Nazis or joke around and do the whole Heil Hitler thing, you're going to jail.
You know how like Black Ops 2 or Black Ops had Nazi zombies? In Germany, when they released that game, it was just zombies.
Really?
Yeah, they couldn't put any Nazi symbols in the game. Nothing. They had to completely change it.
Well, yeah, they
Just
were afraid
big old
people were going to be
blurs.
thinking they were shooting their grandpa.
Yeah.
See that right there? That'll get you locked up.
I don't know. Whenever I think of Germany, though, I think of like what are those, the lederhosens or whatever?
Yeah.
The outfits.
And here we still have people listening in
Lederhosens.
Germany. Why
I
don't
don't
you
know how to say it.
why don't you actually get into the Facebook group there? Okay.
Do you wear these things?
And
You-
and
What
straighten
color
us
are your
out,
later
okay?
hosen?
Yeah, do you wear a kilt?
I want
That's
you to
Scotland.
I want you to straighten
Okay.
me up. Wink, wink.
Oh boy.
The look from my sister right now is, what the fuck did I just hear? And we just lost
Listen.
all of our German listeners, just like that.
Are your pants
Gone.
inside out?
No.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Why is the tag on the outside?
I don't know, but the seams are on the inside.
Why
That's
would
fucked.
why would you want the tag on the inside on your leg? That would just
Nobody
irritate
wants
shit
the
out of
tag on.
They're sleepy pants. The goal is
So
to be
am I.
comfortable.
I'm wearing sleepy pants too.
And where's your tag?
I don't know.
Exactly.
I'm wearing sleepy pants.
You don't know where
underneath
your
my
own
pants.
tag is, but
Yeah,
you're
where?
Yes.
you're lecturing me about my pants and
I
where
was
their
just
tag is.
Curious if they were inside out.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna
How
judge
dare
you because
you.
I've went to work with my pants inside out one before.
I'm guessing something like leggings or something.
It was no, they
No,
were
it was jeans.
I swear to God, if you go to work with your jeans inside
No,
out,
they
that's
were
more
like
than a
the,
fuck up.
It was the
The-
same day she shit in the yard.
canvas pants. You know, the work pants type.
Like the duck pants?
Yeah.
I don't know
Like
what that
these?
is.
How the fuck do you wear those inside
I
out?
don't-
They got like the hammer pocket on them and shit.
Yeah, like the sideways zipper. Yeah.
You wore those inside
I
out?
was sleepy. Okay,
I told you it was the same day she shit in the yard.
that wasn't then.
Jesus.
It was the day before that.
But no,
Should
there's
have just stopped.
there's one more question I have with you, and it revolves around like the nation. And I was having this conversation with some friends the other day. What's going on with this whole draft thing? Is anybody up to date on it in the group
I
here?
can't. I've tried to research it a little bit, but
Bro, I haven't
it's
heard
so
anything
confusing.
about the draft.
Oh, they changed a bunch of laws about it.
I knew they changed a couple laws about it a couple years
All
ago.
I know is I see a bunch of TikToks about like women jokingly like me when my gals get drafted and it's like a tank drifting with like music blaring and they're like jumping ramps and I'm like, this is exactly what would happen.
One that I saw was visiting the bestie's ex's house before being drafted or after being drafted, and they like drive up to the house in a tank and they just point the
The turret up there.
yeah.
So we were talking about it, and the consensus in this little group of people was, I'd like to see the U.S. like demand a draft
No one would go.
because they wouldn't have enough prisons in the country.
They would just
Like-
have to start killing people.
Generations ago, the last draft we had, people fled the country to like Canada, like they ran away from the draft, right? Our generation's just gonna be like,
Come and get me.
nah. They're like, well, you have to. Nah.
Nah.
You gotta go. We said you're drafted. You're in America. You gotta go. No, I'm good, man.
Here's one of the ones about women getting drafted. It's just, it just says, when Bestie and I get drafted, but now we're running away from the enemy because we said, I'd let him handcuff me and torture me a little too loud. Now they're running away from him.
Like, okay, would you? I mean, you're ex-military, but if drafted, would you go?
It depends on what we're fighting for. Like, if I actually knew. And
Like-
if it was for a good reason.
If it was for a good reason. So,
Yeah.
like, let's say that the U.S. is convinced that China's trying to take over the world, and they haven't attacked us or anything like that, but the U.S. declares war on China, and now it's time to
So
go over there and blow up their people.
Basically, what's happening
Yeah.
right now.
I'm not sure.
Because that's like the thing. All of a sudden, that it's in the news.
Does China have universal health care?
China, the whole thing with China, like, did you know? So NVIDIA that makes GPUs for computers, right? Did you know that they just passed a law and they're telling that NVIDIA they're not allowed to sell the new GPUs to China. They're made in fucking Taiwan.
Interesting.
Wait,
And they're not allowed to sell them to China. They have banned NVIDIA from selling the new GPUs to China.
who did?
The U.S. government.
Jesus. Look at us
Because
go.
they don't want them having access to the AI models that are in the cards and the hardware.
Why?
Because they're afraid they'd weaponize it.
Then maybe we should be banned from it too.
No, we're better than they are.
The country that sticks its nose in more things than anybody else
Yeah.
makes sense.
We are Karen.
Yeah.
The U.S. is the international Karen of countries.
I found out. Well, I don't want to bring this up because I don't know anything about it. I'm just gonna sound like an idiot.
Is it the
Well,
fact
just
that
say
we're
say the
sending
facts that you do know about.
I don't
$15
know
billion?
any
Welcome to
facts.
Don't
That's
Fucking
the
Worry
thing.
About It.
That's the facts. I don't know the facts of it. I just saw a little clip of a podcast of ex-military, U.S. military.
Wasn't
Um,
ours.
But they were going into the fact that, Americans are always like, why don't we have free health care and stuff like that? And they were like, you do realize, like, these other countries have free health care and all these other things because the U.S. puts so much money into discovering and inventing new technology for the medical field that is why it is free or more acceptable for them to get these things. Like, so we put the money into finding and developing these things, and then other countries are using those things. So
You-
I was like,
You want an
basically
even-
We're funding our own research.
You want an even
Yes.
better breakdown than that?
I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense.
but that's what I was saying. Like, I wish I knew more about
Except
it.
for those countries aren't putting multiple billions of dollars into an unnecessary defense fund. Not that we don't need a
That's
defense
another thing.
fund.
That's another thing they brought up, actually, was the fact that our defense funding and, like, ideas and concepts also help other countries, like our allies.
Well, yeah, whenever we send
Yeah,
$15
okay,
billion
that's the
worth of
whole
equipment over to 'em.
idealistic bullshit that the U.S. is like this huge helper to the rest of the world.
That's the propaganda.
Here's the thing that's the honest and truthful portion of all of that. The part that like isn't going to be so in your face because they don't want it to look like this. They like using that aspect of it to like, yeah, we live in America. We're the best goddamn country in the world.
Yeah.
No, you know why all these technologies and things exist? You know why our money and our economy, quote unquote, is doing so well? He's messing with the Velcro. It's because of you and me and Alyssa and Ghost. It's because we have the most
I ain't doing
brainwashed
shit.
workforce of any other country there is. So other countries bring their business here and get so many fucking tax breaks, so many this. They start their organizations, their research companies, all this shit because they know they can boost the fucking price up and we will pay it.
Yeah.
And not have to pay us a living wage as the cost keeps going up, right? So like we're also the only ones that will like we're flipping out because of like child labor laws in other countries. But we don't back up any labor laws once you pass the age of 18. If a company says you need to work 100 hours a week, bitch, you better work 100 hours a week or you're a fucking pussy.
And you're fired.
And you still have to work 100 hours a week.
But this is
We're just not paying you.
this is the only country they can go to where we don't demand like a life outside of work. The dream here is to work really, really hard until you're like 70 or 80 and then you get to retire.
Maybe.
Well, that's the generation after us is slowly trying to change that.
No, our generation's trying to change it, and that's where
We're not doing a good enough job. The generation after us is slowly
Right, they're
trying to change it. They're doing a better
building
job, yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
they're taking the work we did and expanding upon it.
Yeah.
But like the whole like, and I'm sure you've ran into it. I hate the fucking kids these days. They don't work for shit.
Well, I had someone at work say that. I'm trying to remember the conversation. Give me a minute. I told you about it.
While you're trying to remember that, this is also the only country that if you become a non-functioning worker, you're better off killing yourself. That's the mindset that's pushed on this.
Right now, we are living in a time frame, money-wise, that we are living basically worse off than the Great Depression.
Yes.
Yes.
And that is saying
per the
something.
statistics, but yet nobody's losing anything yet, and that's because they keep just inflating shit, right?
Yeah.
So if you are unable to work anymore, you've no longer got health coverage. You no longer get any like work paid benefits, right?
Useless.
And then if you try to go through the system that we have in place to help people, sometimes you're just better off working even if you're fucking disabled.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, it's a fucking crap toss. Like, am I going to be homeless and on the corner? And
Well, that's why there's so many people that are retired that are still working like at Walmart.
there's no such thing as a retirement in the
I know,
United
that's what
States.
I'm saying. Like, it's just sad.
People who had retired years ago with the last cost increase of everything had to go find fucking jobs.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely fucking stupid. So, like, what you're talking about is how we fund other countries like that is because a lot of their corporate offices and all that shit send a lot of the labor here. Like, we are the child laborers kind of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are areas and industries and places where they do have child labor, but you got to step back from that and look at it as a cultural thing. Like, they don't have
some-
enough money to export anything. Like, if you take away the child labor force in those areas, you could completely destroy their entire economy, which might actually be the goal of the push. So that way somebody can steal that industry and take it to a place like here and then profit off of it.
I think there's a point where, like, if it is being forced upon somebody to work, that's the issue.
Yeah.
But
As
what do
soon
you
as-
count as forcing something upon someone? Like the government making them do it, or they just don't have enough money, so little 7-year-old Timmy has to go work to make up the slack?
Kind of both. It's both an issue. Both of them are issues.
Well, I mean, what about the fact that, like, if you go to Kansas or somewhere where they farm and shit, they've got their 7-year-old kid out there plowing the fields.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay in America.
That's a cultural thing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a cultural thing. It's totally okay to have your 7-year-old work for you on a farm.
Yeah, his entire life, and then after he gets able to get his own
That
job.
kid's a real man,
Oh.
but because he works on a farm, you see.
Yeah.
More of a man than you.
Well,
Yeah.
I had 7 dogs growing up. I
That's
fed them
like a
all.
farm of dogs. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So when I hear shit about that, that's what drives me crazy about it is you've got these generations before us that, like, you know, at first it really pissed me off when people wouldn't put their hand over their heart during the Pledge of Allegiance. But then I heard from a Swedish friend of ours, she asked us a question. This has been a couple of years ago, and it was like, is it true that you guys pledge allegiance to your flag?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, yeah. And she's like, that's so fucking weird. And I was like, what do you mean that's weird? She's like, I can only think of like 3 or 4 other countries that do shit like that. And one of them's North Korea.
Yeah.
I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, North Korea like pledges allegiance to the flag. They're very like
And to their leader.
into their leader and their government and all this other shit. And I was like, oh my God. I
See-
don't think it's a good thing that we just got compared to fucking North Korea.
Right, and a lot of people don't understand what it actually means. They just see it as something patriotic. And so people that are patriotic see it as kind of like the national anthem. Like it's
Yeah.
just something that, like, you're, what's the word I'm looking for? Not, how do I describe this? You're I don't know how to. What
Are you
the word
talking
is.
about like it's a way of like like when you say when you wake up in the morning, look in a mirror, and you're like, I'm gonna do this thing today, and then you go out and do it?
No, it's like I know somebody died to
Oh, like a respect thing?
a respect thing. It's more like respectful for the people that made the flag and stuff like that.
That's how our generation views it. It's
Right.
like it's a respect thing for the people who've died to give us the freedoms that we do have.
I think that's kind of a funny point, though, because there were a lot of people who have died, like, protecting your right to do that. But there were also people who died to protect your right to not have to do it. But we don't talk about those people, only the ones that fit your narrative.
Right, but that's what I mean by patriotic. Like, it's just the general, in my mindset, like, it's just like you have the right to do and please as you want. In any way,
Do
shape,
and
or
want
form.
as you please.
Whatever. Again, You can do whatever the fuck you want, whether
Right.
you say the or
Say the Pledge of Allegiance
no,
or not.
the fucking national anthem, the
Yeah.
hand over the heart, salute, whatever the fuck you want to do.
Yeah.
Whether you want to do it or not, you
But,
have
like,
that right.
I've noticed a generational thing where, like, people our ages, people younger than us, they're not doing it. And then you look at the old people and they're like, fucking kids, they don't understand. And it's like, actually, I think we might understand better than you do. Like, my father was buried to taps. I watched them put the fucking flag over their casket. And I don't feel like I'm dishonoring him if I don't fucking do it. As a matter of fact, a lot of people don't realize that the people who went to war, died in war, fought in the military, and came back, have a sit down with one for 5 minutes.
Like, me and Sweet Pea both have the ideal, like, after going through the military and being in the military, you realize you weren't fighting for what you thought. You
No,
did
you're
not join for the reasons that you thought until afterwards you realized you were fighting for your politicians.
Well, the last
Correct.
two big wars we had, half of the people, I think it was like 40% of the people in World War II were drafted. Vietnam, same thing.
Yeah.
They didn't have an option to go or not go. So a lot of them probably are the people who fought and died for you to be able to not say the Pledge of Allegiance or not put your hand over your heart. Like,
Right. And another big thing is, like, I know it's kind of off topic, but the people that were drafted and forced to be in, like, the Vietnam War weren't welcome back.
No.
No. Well,
They were
because most
spit
of
on,
them-
they were shit on, they
Right.
were
And,
cussed
like,
out.
I understand you didn't agree with the narrative of why we went over there. That's one thing. But the fact that they did that, I still respect them as a person. And I will welcome them home.
See, and I think that's where our government's really fucking up at. Like, somebody said something to me the other day. They go, it almost seems like they aren't American citizens. And I was like, it's funny you say that. Because they're really not. Once you become like a high-end government official, like Senate or part of the high-up cabinet systems,
class.
the elite class, you aren't bound by the same laws as American citizens are.
Nope.
You're fed insider information. Like, one thing that's illegal is for government officials to trade in the stocks.
Right.
But they've proven time and time again that government officials own stocks in the market. These motherfuckers have
wanna-
insider trading information.
If you want to get high in stocks, you literally just have to figure out what these politicians are putting their stock into and
Yep.
just follow them.
Just follow them, and
That's
you
how
will
you
get
make money.
rich. Yep.
Yeah.
You got to have the money to do it, though.
Yeah.
You got to be able to have the money to follow their moves, right?
Right.
But, like, the fact that that's happening in plain fucking sight, and we haven't drugged their asses out of office. They're like, yeah, but they're doing it through parent corporations and umbrella corps and trust funds. And it's like, I don't fucking care. They're blatantly robbing hardworking American citizens trying to live that fucking dream.
That and the fact that monopolies aren't even legal, and there's so many monopolies.
Oh, there's monopolies all over the place. And the thing that people don't
That's
realize
a
on
fun
that
game.
is the umbrella corporations. Like, you go to Walmart, right? Or you can go to Dollar General, or you can go to Aldi, or you can go to Target.
Mm-hmm.
Follow that up.
Yep.
Go up to the top of those chains, find where they all connect.
Yep.
Fast food corporations.
Have you ever seen the
All these
videos?
based in Germany.
But I'm just saying, like, maybe there are a couple of different ones, but the really big ones, like
Oh, yeah,
Walmart,
for sure.
Have you ever seen the videos a TikToker makes? I don't know his name or what he really does, but he goes into a Walmart and looks at the shelves of, like, shampoos.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll go through every single brand of shampoo and tell you which ones are actually, like, what's the word for it? Not homemade.
like natural, like not
No.
made by like
Like a family company.
a family company.
A family company.
Right.
And he was like, oh, this one says it's family company. And then he goes all the way up, and it's like, no, it's owned by this company. And he'll go to the next one. And you'll go all the way up. Oh, it's owned by the same company.
Yep.
And it's like 90% of that shelf.
Like corporation versus indie brand.
Yeah. 90% of the shelves on
Mm-hmm.
there are owned by the same company. And you'll have like one or two that is
Is
the
the
family
company
business.
Procter
But if you'll
& Gamble?
notice, they change that family business all the time. Like, once people kind of figure out, oh, this is the one I want, and people start latching onto that one, it disappears, and then one from another brand comes out that, kind of looks a lot like it.
Yeah.
The crazy part is like Equate brand, right? It's supposed to be the off-brand, cheaper version of
It's owned by the same company.
Garnier Fructis or Head and Shoulders or any of these other ones, right? I choked on a little bit of something there.
My dick.
If you go up to the top, those all come out of the same fucking factories.
Yep.
My
Same
favorite
with the
thing.
off-brand cereals.
Yep.
Yeah. My favorite thing is whenever a company like makes a huge name for themselves and then they do something that gets them in trouble, and then you don't hear anything about them ever again because they changed their name.
Yeah.
That or
And
a
like
company's
nobody
actually.
fucking catches on to it until like several years later when they get in trouble again.
Yeah.
Well, the big thing is like these companies, like these small businesses that are making good money because people are like, say it gets popular on TikTok and they're like, oh, this is an actual brand that's family owned. It's
Like
cheap
Pink
and
Sauce.
it's good. Yes. And then a company will realize that, oh, they're getting a lot of business now.
Let's go offer them money to buy it.
Either that, and if they say no, we're
They
going
sh-
to run them out of business.
Yep.
Yeah, they just make a product that's identical, even if
That or they.
it's copyrighted or.
So we live in a
That or even better, they'll go into these stores and tell them they cannot sell that. In
yeah,
that
they'll
store.
change the laws. Okay, well, I've got an example of that, small scale, right? So we live in a small town. Remember we had that Mexican food truck that was coming into town?
Yeah.
There's a business owner in town here that owns quite a few businesses, a lot of rental properties, has a lot of money.
He's a piece of shit.
He's a piece of shit. Well, guess who was losing money out of fucking Subway? Because the food truck was sitting in the same goddamn parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
So what did he do? He got with the fucking city and changed the rules on what you have to do in order to be able to sell food in town, to the point where it was nearly impossible for somebody who didn't have a shit ton of money to do it. And one of them was like, you had to be in a building. Like, essentially, you can't have a food truck in town.
Brick and mortar.
Yeah. That's such fucking bullshit,
Yeah.
dude.
Even though, like, the town over in
Oh.
the Tokyo truck.
Was that the same time that the snow cone place moved?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, around the same time, I think.
Which is
So they tried to conform to it, and that's why they lost all their business, because they had to move.
Yep.
Yeah, and a big part of like the snow cone place was it was like a tiny little like set off back off of the highway in a little spot, and you could go and you could sit with your kids and like they could run around and you didn't have to worry about them like running out into the road, and it was like the ambiance
peaceful.
of the place versus what you were actually getting.
Yep.
The point in this is this guy's powerful for a small town, but when it comes to like big organizations, big money, big cities, this guy is a low life, nothing, doesn't even fucking tick on their radar, right? So imagine being in that kind of situation, right? So once you get up to Walmart League selling your fucking product, it's not hard to fuck people over if you've already got all the money. But even crazier than that, so we live in a small town, right? Not just that, but all of the businesses that are surrounding us, all the businesses up and down the interstate that you see, I've been in most of them, 80% of them lately. All of them are closing. All of them are selling off to these investment companies. And the ones that haven't, I've talked to the owners. The investment companies have reached out to them. We're literally living in a game of Monopoly right now.
Yep.
These motherfuckers are going around and buying up everything, restricting laws to make it even harder, starving you out if you're a business owner to the point where you don't have a choice but to go to work for them.
Yep.
This is fucking insanity that we're just standing by and letting it happen.
Because it's so subtle, like until someone breaks it down and puts it right in your face, you don't even realize that it's happening.
How do you not realize that's happening?
Because people are in this motion of life. It's
Because
just-
I'm too fucking busy to go into
Yep.
80% of the businesses along the highway. I worked Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
I guess you're right.
And-
They're
and
buying
the
up these
fact-
mom and pop shops, and unless you know somebody who works there, you don't realize that it isn't a mom and pop
that,
shop
and
anymore.
you go into on your off time to these businesses to enjoy yourself. You're not asking these questions.
Is it the reason you work too much is because if you don't, you're not a worthy
No, the reason I work too much is because prior to getting married, my future husband got us a bunch of bills that I have to pay.
Prior to us getting married, I was also making quite a bit of money as a business owner and doing quite fine until the cost of fuel went up and they dropped the fucking rates that they were using to pay to use that fuel.
I
Wait,
agree.
wait, excuse.
Yeah.
And I was hit by an 18-wheeler.
Oh, here it is.
There it is.
Everybody, he was hit by an 18.
But I'm still working, even though, like,
Oh, and he's his own business owner. Did we
I was.
forget about that?
I was. But that's not,
And he
that's
got
like,
a new truck.
that was the
Yeah,
American
yeah.
dream before. That was the American dream. Come here and, like, free market. You can build your own business, do what you love, profit off of it, become a success. Mm-hmm. What's the American dream now? Work until you're 70, retire, and then work some more.
Yep.
Or hope to God that you're still able to move around and enjoy your retirement.
Like, the
Like,
company that I used to work for, I'm not going to say their name, but they bought so many of the company I work for now was bought by my old company. That's why I switched over to this one. Because
Gotcha.
I was able to and it was easy to.
Yeah.
But they were bought by the major company that I worked for before.
Gotcha.
And so it's just crazy to me that, like, they were doing well on their own, but I'm sure something happened to where, like,
But can we just break that down
I
to,
know my
like,
company's buying a shitload of companies.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure they just bought Yellow.
yeah.
just break it down to, like, the propaganda level? Just to let people know, like, how real this shit is. When people were in the melting pot, right, and it was still considered a melting pot, and we were welcoming people from other countries, the sale was, come here, establish yourself, build a business, free market, be what you want to be and succeed.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next propaganda was, keep your head down, shut up, and fucking work. And now the propaganda is, you're a cheap piece of shit if you're not working as hard as you possibly can into the grave. And if you don't fucking do that, the older generations, you're just a worthless piece of shit.
It's really funny that you say it like that because it kind of pieced together some things in my head. The American dream, like the idea of, like, you own a house, you work for everything that you have, your wife sits at home and cooks the food, and your 2.5 kids with your white picket fence and your little
Half
spotted
kids.
dog. Yeah, that was the statistic.
Yeah, you were supposed to have a couple kids, the white picket fence. Like, that was literally
That was the
televised,
American dream.
commercialized, the
It
American dream across the
was
world.
war propaganda. And what did they do during that last war? When all of that propaganda, like, hit?
What did they do?
Drafted people.
Weird.
Come to America so we can draft you.
And, like, you've met people today, I'm sure, Ghost, Callie, that, like,
Ghost
as a
Callie.
woman, you've met it before, where it's like, well, shouldn't you be, like, at home doing womanly things?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you out in the workforce?
Hey, did you
Motherfucker,
bring
because
me a
at this
sandwich?
point, that American dream is dead.
Even if I wanted that to be my lifestyle, I can't.
No, you can't afford it just to live in a fucking apartment with a couple of nice things.
Yeah.
No, but they also want you to work at some, like, you know,
You need to make clothes.
establishment to where,
Yeah.
you make clothes or purses
Yeah.
or
A
go
womanly
become a
job.
waitress.
Yeah, a womanly job. Go be a secretary somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Make minimum wage
I'm
at
trying
all
to
these
picture
jobs.
Callie in, like, a pencil skirt and heels and doing secretary stuff. And I don't
Stop
know.
it. Stop it. Stop it right now.
I don't know how often you, like, shave your legs, but in my brain you have Van's legs. Oh,
They're just a little bit
they're not,
prickly.
but, like, I can't see
It
it.
sounds like she had a date night the other night, though. That might be
No,
why.
actually, my roommate moved out, and we have the nice big shower.
Oh.
And I can actually do it in the shower. I can shave my legs
she's
in
there
the
doing
shower.
like cartwheels, shaving her
Yeah,
legs
it's nice. See, before we had
We're
to
gonna
know
get a
the
call.
like one
Callie
person.
broke her neck.
We had the one person shower, so I'd have to get out of the shower and shave my legs on like put my foot up on the toilet and shave my legs.
Right.
But now I can do it in the shower. It's so nice.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, and so, yeah, I can't picture Callie doing that
So
shit either
If you
because,
shave your legs over the toilet, though, you know, you can ting your razor on the edge of the toilet
Ew.
and, like, shake it off in the toilet water.
that's
that's
manly.
gross.
That's
Clean
manly.
water. It's clean water. It's
That's
just as clean as
disgusting.
coming out of your sink.
You know what I've never heard from a patient? And I've had some old people who have kind of skirted the line of, wow, we are still in 1950.
What's-
I've never one time had one of them ask me why I was working. because I'm a nurse, and it's socially acceptable for women to be.
But do you know how
nurses.
many guys that work in the same industry probably get shit
Oh, all the
Because they're
time.
male nurses?
because
Yeah.
they're male nurses?
Or the fact that I think it's hilarious. They're like, oh, you shouldn't be working in a factory job doing these manly jobs. What did we do whenever you were shipped off to war? We
You
made
worked in the
all of
factory.
we
Yeah,
made
you were
all of these
forced
things.
to go work at the factory.
Yeah,
That's what Rosie the Riveter is.
yeah,
It's propaganda for women to go work in the factory.
and make
But
all these bombs
It's only
and guns.
acceptable whenever it's necessary.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, men nowadays.
But now it's necessary. Now that's not the dream anymore. That's not the dream anymore, to have a wife and kids and a picket fence.
I think it's so funny. Every time I tell anybody what kind of job I have, that I drive a semi for a living,
Yeah.
they're like, that's really cool. I could never do that. Like, okay, why not? Why can't you do that?
No.
no, don't encourage
Don't
other
encourage
people to do
that.
that.
Because do you know how many people every day look? My job is exhausting, and a lot of the exhaustion comes from me having to pretend to be like a nice person. And on my way home, I question
Pretend.
every fucking day. Why the fuck do I have a job where I save people? These fucking idiots on the goddamn road. Why do I try to help them? Why do I save them? If I just let them go about their business, we would have less morons on the road.
You know, if you,
You
ever...
want them driving a truck?
I'm not saying I want them
If
to drive.
you
I'm just saying I just think
ever-
it's funny that they're like, that is so cool.
You know
But
what's-
they don't expect it.
ever
You know what's
get in
crazy, though?
trouble for anything at work because somebody died, this is going to be used against you.
That's fine. Fire
You
me.
say that, but it's amazing from a male that took that job, how I was scum of the earth as a truck driver.
Right.
You're cool as a
Hey.
female and a truck
Because
driver.
I'm in a man's industry. That's why they
That's
think
it.
it's cool.
But me as a man in that industry, I'm like a step below prostitute.
Your
Yeah.
mom probably still thinks she's the scum of the earth, and it's your fault.
Ooh. You remember when that went down?
yeah.
When I got in trouble because you were thinking about becoming a truck driver and I
Listen.
encouraged you?
Listen.
What?
At the time, I was making $14 an hour,
Yeah.
living with a roommate, and I still couldn't save any money. So would you rather me do that or drive a truck and make decent
mom
money and
would.
still not have any money?
And then when my kids were with me in the truck, it was, you want them to grow up to be truck drivers? And I was like, well, I don't fucking care if that's what they want to do. What? God damn. Just call me out. Why
I'm
don't
gonna
you?
be honest,
Fuck.
if I could, if I was able to take a pay cut right now and do what I wanted, I would.
What is that?
Probably like police officer or something like that.
You're thinking about law enforcement again?
Yeah, but like it's just it doesn't pay well enough.
For me, it's that the job isn't what I thought it was going to be. I thought my job would be helping people if I got into law enforcement.
Yeah.
But the job of law enforcement isn't to help people. It's to maintain a steady income for the municipality you work for.
See, like if I wanted to go into that profession, I would want to. I don't know the words I'm trying to use. Try to make a change.
And they've made it so you can't do that anymore.
I know it's very hard. To
That's why, like, you'd have to go into, I'd say politics, but even then,
No.
at that point, I think the best thing you can do to make a change is what we're doing right here in this room.
I think all these younger people need to really, really hardcore get into politics.
The problem is the same reason. So I don't know if I've told you, but I think it was, a month ago, I had lunch with the state representative. And out of the state representative's mouth, he told me, he goes, you know how many guys have come in here wanting to make a change? And by the end of it, they were following the paycheck. Mm-hmm. And for those of you that don't understand the connection there, I'm getting at lobbying. They would start following the lobby checks. Less about helping people and more about, hey, buddy, I'll put money towards your campaign.
Yeah.
Just make sure my industry is safe from these laws that people are trying to
Listen.
pass, or make it harder for anybody to become competition.
Listen. That's why I said more of them. Not just like one or two. We need like
90%.
90% of these younger people to just try to
We
get
just
in.
need to get rid of the 80-year-olds that are in
That's what
fucking
I'm saying,
government.
like,
That would help out
that's
tremendously.
what
That's
I'm
another thing,
saying.
like, I feel
Like
like-
force them out and get the younger generation who aren't as obsessed over money and who aren't going to just like follow the money trail. These people who like live minimalistic and
I think it
shit
should
like
be
that.
illegal to come from any kind of lineage that's been in politics and be able to go into politics. I think, like, we should go back to the family, like, tree thing, where, like, if you are a senator, your great-great-grandkids can't become senators. After that generation, it's fine. But that leaves it open to where more diverse amounts of people
But then
with
again,
different...
you're limiting a person's ability to do what they want to in their life. Your kid may have wanted to be a politician of some sort in the future, but now because of that law, they can't.
But it's a check and balance in the system. Like, that also keeps from family money becoming a factor on the laws that govern our land.
I don't know about that. Because you could say that about every job.
You get raised as a politician to become a politician. You can't come from the street. Like, that's the argument for Trump right now, is that he's not a politician, he's a businessman. Motherfucker, what do you think business people in his position do?
I think it
They
should
do
be
fucking
more,
politics.
I think it should be able to be more like it should be a lot less about like how you're funded into becoming a politician. Like if you were a politician and your son wanted to be a politician, I think that would be okay. But his race shouldn't, like his political race to the chair or the presidency or whatever, shouldn't be based or helped out or anything by the fact that you were a politician.
I think that organizations shouldn't be looked at as people anymore. And if you've taken any kind of college course on U.S. history, there's literally a timeline in there where an organization gained the ability to be looked at as an individual and could have an opinion on politics. That's a lot of the issue. That's a lot of lobbying, right? I think if you want to run the country, everybody should be up for a vote.
Tesla
and if
supports Abraham Lincoln this year for president.
And if you want to run, you have to crowdsource your own funding. It cannot come from corporations
Yeah.
Or family.
or family,
Yeah.
for that matter.
It all has to be grassroots.
Has to be grassroots shit, right?
Like a tiny little
Yeah.
company.
I agree
But
with
at that point, it becomes I know people that can get you the exposure you need to get the crowdsourced money.
But see, then it comes down to, like, yeah, your kids up to a certain point can't, but your friends' kids
Who
can.
are very influenced by your kids.
Correct. Can. Or your friend who is very influenced by you has a kid, now they can. And you can start influencing that kid.
Right. Which
It's
is why I
inevitable.
think it should also be more of a randomization thing, like different areas of different states. Like, everybody should be able
Like
to
jury duty.
influence. Yeah, like jury duty. Jury duty, for instance. It's kind of randomized who goes and serves jury duty. Now, when you get there, you get questioned by both attorneys to see if you are even eligible to defend in this case or to have an opinion.
The price is right.
You are now president.
I mean, I don't think it would work. I think it would do that to like 100 people, and then it would be dwindled down to one person through like background
Hunger
checks.
Games.
Yeah, the Hunger
Yeah,
Games.
yeah,
There we go.
yeah.
Checks and balances,
your name in the
questionnaires.
cup.
Only
Yeah.
the strongest will survive.
But like right now, I saw a meme, and it's been years, but there was a
Somebody
literal
called a
meme.
meme the other day.
A meme?
Yeah. And
Who
I
said
don't-
that?
Just some random person I seen. I was like, but he was so proud of it because he was showing somebody. He goes, "It's a meme."
Oh
I was
god.
like, "Oh god."
There was a meme going around, and it was a picture of like Congress that was in session, and like half these motherfuckers were sleeping.
Yeah, I've seen that. Or it was a video.
And the words on the screen were something along the lines of, "Can we now send them to nursing homes and get actual like young people in there to start making these decisions?"
People who actually give a shit.
I was gonna say they don't give a
People will
fuck to the point where
actually
they will fall
affect.
asleep.
No,
Yeah.
but the members that do give a shit, like I saw a video the other day. So I don't know if you noticed, but each person has their own seat.
Ooh.
That seat has buttons. So
Yep.
like when a vote comes up, they can vote on shit.
Yep.
There's literal videos of people sitting at their seats, leaning over to the seat next to them, pulling the thing out and voting for them.
Yep. I was just about to say that. Or if somebody, like one of them didn't show up, they'll just reach over, click the button.
Yeah, they'll vote for people who are absent.
Yep. How is that legal?
It's fucking not, dude. Like, that's not legal. It's straight up illegal, but yet here they are doing it.
They should make it to where those seats, if nobody's manned at that seat, it's turned off.
Yep. But that is what we're living in right now. That person was probably absent because they were told not to be there that day.
Or they were probably absent because they had to go to their other job because their seat that they were in didn't pay enough.
Or they weren't getting paid by these other people wanting them to do something.
That one.
Yeah.
The people in Congress don't have other jobs, bro. Are you fucking kidding me right now? They don't work at other jobs.
I mean, some of
They
them
get no, they do
They're
not.
probably selling coffee on the street because these government officials don't get paid enough. Clearly,
Oh, I see what you're getting at there. That it's such a poor job to be a government official.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I bet if you actually looked at the pay scales for what their actual earnings are, it's probably not that great. And that's probably part of the propaganda. But what people don't realize is maybe, they're only making, I say only, they're only making 120 grand a year.
President is supposed to get I think it's 600,000 for their entire
Their term.
term.
But these government officials, 120 grand a year. Go to their house, look up pictures of their houses.
Yep.
They live in fucking $1 billion mansions.
yeah.
Where do you think they're getting that money from? Do you think they're getting it from work?
No.
Ask that question. Where's the money coming from? Here's one I got for you. Now, Ghost, you and I, we sat and asked each other this question one day, and we tried to follow it, and we gave up, right? The U.S. Mint prints money, right? So you get these truckloads of money, right?
Yeah.
Where does it go?
What do you mean?
How does it get introduced
I would
into the
say-
system?
Without knowing anything, I would
I go
guess.
to Walmart.
I would guess that it would go to a bank. That would be my guess.
But banks are privately owned entities,
Right,
which means
but-
a bank's getting a bunch of free money.
that's
Well,
just off the top of my head guess. I don't know.
Before we go any further, if this is the conversation I think we're talking about, we also talked about how
National debt.
national debt, how
Yeah, I'm
we bail
getting
out
there.
other people and shit like that.
I'm getting there. Alyssa, you seem to know where the money goes, or have an idea.
So yes, banks are private entities, but they are insured and governed by the government. So my guess would also be banks.
It's they use it for funding.
Government funding.
Government funded things come from the mint, from what I understand. I don't know this to be fact, but that means that a government is putting the money into something, and they're deciding, here's $20 million.
Distribute it.
Now, look up those foundations that the money's going to, and try to track who owns it. Apparently, you can link all this shit back to government officials. That government money that is freshly printed goes into foundations.
It goes into the Federal Reserve.
And then where does it go?
It gets distributed to banks.
And then
The banks distribute it.
To? I've never gotten just money from my bank that the government gave them.
No, because money is an illusion. Everything is tallied in a fucking computer nowadays.
So what you're saying is the government gives them money, and then what? They use that money to give out loans to people?
So money nowadays is just like a marker, so to speak. It's basically monopoly money at this point. All of the money that we have in our bank account is represented by numbers on a screen.
Right.
So the fact that they print new money and they just shove it in the Federal Reserve, it's basically like when you have a jar full of marbles to represent.
But that's not true, because I've had brand new bills in my hand before, so that freshly printed money gets actually distributed.
They exchange old bills for new bills.
Yeah, but the
when they
market
get-
has more dollars in it than it did 10 years ago. There's more physical money present today than there was a decade ago.
Correct, but every penny that you own is kept track on a computer. There
Right.
isn't a representative amount of the
Well, I'd
$20
really hate
in
if
our
the
bank
internet
account
went
at
down.
the bank.
No.
It's all on the computer.
But in order for our population size to double and there still be enough cash for everybody to carry around a $5 bill, means that
There
some of that
isn't.
printed money gets distributed to the public. And if the Federal Reserve is getting that money and it's distributing it to banks, somebody is getting something for nothing.
Are we talking about actual cash monies, or are we talking about money that the United States
we're
has?
talking about Young Money, Nicki Minaj.
So
Lil
I think I
Wayne.
get what he's saying. So like
I get what he's saying.
I get paid by my job, but where does my job get it? They get it from people. Where do the people get it from? Their job. Their job gets it from where? And you can just keep going.
You can
Where
trace
does
the
it
money
go?
back, right?
But where does it originate
But
from?
where does the money originate from? They're printing off money. They're distributing it. Who's the first? It goes government, then where?
Your first mistake is they're printing off money and distributing it. The printed off money, most of the money that is printed to replace bills that have been destroyed.
There's more money here in the U.S.
So if I rip my $20 bill in like a million little pieces,
As long as they can read the serial code, you can take it to the bank and they will replace it with another $20 bill and they will take that one out of circulation.
Yep. I've done that.
There's a
before,
whole
actually.
movie about it with
Uh-huh.
Queen Latifah, where
Okay,
her
but
and
they're
a couple
doing-
of other women work at the place where they destroy bills. So they
what if
figure out how to swipe a bunch of the money. It's the whole premise of the movie.
I cut the serial number out, right, and then I just take it to the bank?
Okay, but
And then
that's
I come
not the
back to a
only thing
different
they do
bank
with
in a month
printed
later
money.
without the serial
They
number.
also put it into circulation. They add more money to the money we have. There's more physical money.
So I get. So like, say you just got here,
Mm-hmm.
and
Welcome to
or you
America.
were just born or whatever. You're a new
Welcome to the
person,
world.
and
Thanks,
I
hate
had
it here.
$20, and my job had $40, but I get paid $20 a week. But they only have $40, and you just got hired on there, so now they have to give you $20 too, right?
But if the business continues to expand and they need to hire more people, they have to have more money in circulation
Right.
in order to pay you.
Correct.
So they're circulating more and more money. So
I just
where
don't
do these
understand.
stacks of clean bills that were just made that need to go out into circulation because we need more cash flow in the U.S.?
They get
Who gets that?
distributed through the Federal Reserve, who distributes it to banks.
Okay.
That's why nobody's paid in cash anymore.
But only certain banks, I'm sure, get this money.
Any bank that's that's insured by
Oh my
the
God,
FDIC.
I think you're missing the point.
I'm not missing the point.
At
I think
the beginning,
you're making a point that
no,
doesn't exist.
at the beginning of the United States, there was a limited amount of funds here. And sure,
Correct.
people move into the country, they bring their own, they print off, so that way they can exchange it for our funds.
Mm-hmm.
That's great and all. But at the beginning of all of this, there was a finite amount of goods and services and funds for those goods and services.
Do you know why there was a finite amount? Because it was backed by the gold
I
coin.
understand that, but now there's no backing
There
for it,
is
so
no
they
back-
can
ding, ding, you just
so they
hit
can
it
sit there
right on
and
the
print
head.
off as much as they want to,
Yes.
and inflate it as big as they want to.
Correct. That was
But
a big
where
thing
is the
during
printed
COVID.
off shit going?
It's going to the Federal Reserve to be distributed amongst the banks.
Who are they distributing it?
The banks.
And who's the bank distributing it to?
Whoever cashes a check.
Where is
So
that check coming
it's going from the
Whoever
banks.
pays the person that check.
It's going from
and
the
where do
banks.
they get their money?
Hold
the
on.
bank.
It's
That's what I'm
going
saying.
from the banks to
Yes.
the companies that pay us. And then whenever we pay, we send it back to the companies because we're buying their product that we made for them. So then it's going back into the companies who are taking it back to the banks. And then the banks are taking it back to the Federal Reserve to switch it back out and get more money for the banks. And then bringing it back to the fucking companies. And then and we're getting paid.
There's
and it's just-
there's still a tab here you're missing. So there's 4 of us in this room. Each of us have $20. A 5th person enters the room. We need to be able to make sure he has an equal amount of money as we do.
I'm the bank. Here's your money.
Right.
So they,
But
he
they
got
don't
money
just
for-
give him the money.
No,
they need
because
something
we're
in
giving him
return.
money.
So they're giving him a loan.
All right, hold on. Here's how it goes. So I'm a bank. Okay, so we are a job.
I think it's loans.
Loans in the
Well-
stock market, yes.
Okay, so if
there's
I get a
that.
loan from a bank and they just got this extra funding from the government so they can give out loans, that means that they're making interest off of free money that they were given by the government in order to disperse money.
They
Just
were
so-
also loaned that money from the government.
Just so you know, this isn't where our conversation went.
No, it's not where our conversation went. We'll get to that one in a
No,
minute.
because people with logic entered the chat.
It's not. Listen,
never
if you're a
talked
listener
about
and you're
that.
and you're getting what I'm putting down,
I'm getting what you're putting down. The government's printing money and they're just handing out free money. No, they're giving printed money to banks to hand out. And yes, it is through loans, but that money that's through loans isn't just given to the bank. The bank is also being loaned that money.
okay, but they're
And they're
charging
also
more interest than
earning
what they have to pay
money.
back to the government.
They're also earning money by having those loans, and they're also earning money in the form of stocks. That's why if the stock market goes down, the entirety of our economy crashes. That's why they want
So
to
we
take
live
the
on the
Federal
stock
Reserve
standard
out.
instead of the gold standard?
Because what you said, our money is not backed by anything, is the truest statement that has fallen out of your mouth in the last 5 minutes. Our money is backed by shit.
Then what makes us more powerful than any other country?
Illusion. And I'm not joking.
Toys.
The fact that we've got all these deals
the
with
fact
these
that
corporations.
we have a bigger dick.
And the bigger dick is served by having more corporations that back us, that protect us from other countries that want what we have.
And a hella big defense fund.
Well, then you can't argue that when you said it earlier.
We've just gone full circle.
Yes, we have. Now, the point that him and I had the other day, does anybody here understand national debt? We actually did
It's
some research on this
Stupid.
one. We have loans from China.
Yeah, we borrow money.
We borrow money from China. But did you know China's borrowed money from us?
Yes.
But hold on, here's the kicker: is we still owe China money while they owe us money, and we owe Japan money while they owe us money, and like instead of like, oh, we loaned you this. Okay, yeah, we loaned you this, but now we need you to loan us this, and it doesn't like negate the debts on either side. So essentially, they're racking up a debt, then we're racking up a debt, and it's never.
They don't
continue-
cancel each
they're
other
not
out, ever.
canceling it. It doesn't make any fucking sense. So like,
They can literally say our national debt is whatever they want
It's
to
like
at that
if you
point.
owed me money and I owed you money. Say you owed me
what is
$60
that?
and I owed
Fucking
you
Dumber
40.
and Dumber, where they just pass around a fucking $20 bill.
Yes, it would just be $20. You owed me $20 instead.
Right. And then I
But
come back to you and I'm
also
like,
owe
hey,
him $20.
Yeah. That's the thing. Let's say that you borrow $40 from me, and like a week later, I'm like, "Hey, I need to borrow $40 from you," and be like, "All right, but don't forget, you still owe me that $40."
Right. Just fucking.
Like, why is that
Even
a
it
thing?
out.
It seems pretty obvious. I mean, I just said it.
Well, yeah.
They keep shutting our government down because they're like, "Whoa, we got to raise the debt ceiling."
It just doesn't make any, like, what the fuck? I don't know.
It's like another form of like control.
but
I
nobody's
don't-
controlling
It's
anything.
another illusion. Because they can say, well, we're in debt to this country, blah, blah, blah. Or we
So
have
now
this
we gotta
much
do
national
this.
debt, so everyone's responsible for paying this much in
Oh.
taxes.
Wait, hold on.
I know the answer. I know
I'm
how we
not
solve it.
national, Hold on, I'm not in national debt. I don't owe China $50 million.
Your nation does.
That's why we're going
Yeah, I
to
don't
war.
fu-
That's the only way to pay back the
Yes.
debt is by blowing up that amount of money's worth of shit in their countries. Oh,
No. No.
you can only pay back your debts in blood.
But you are on the correct track. We go to war because war stimulates the feelings of patriotism. And then people don't give a shit when the government's taking their money because we're going to protect our country.
Yeah, but right now we're just going to put our nose in things that don't matter to
I
us.
mean-
Callie, is there anything the Japanese people as a whole have done to you
No.
that makes you just hate all Japanese people?
No.
Is there anything like
Obviously, they've
any
done something
other
banana.
country of people, like those people in that country? Like there's a YouTube channel called British Hate Callie, and where every British person in the country wakes up every morning and is like, I'm going to fuck you up, Callie.
I bet you we could make that happen. I bet you we can make
That would be the
happen.
thing that would
Callie
take
from
off.
America, I'm going to
Just
fuck
get me
you
on
up.
TikTok. I can make it happen.
No, because just like in other countries, like us here, we're all too busy trying to fucking survive that we aren't worried about people in other countries right now, right?
It's like you know,
Well,
people
hold on,
are like
some of us are.
people are like, I hate Japanese because they bombed Pearl Harbor. No, you hate.
Bitch, you weren't even alive
I know,
then.
I'm
Fuck
not
off.
saying me.
No,
No,
I know,
yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
but
Like,
still.
bitch, you weren't even alive
Yeah,
then.
but even that's not
That's not
factual.
true.
You hate their government.
Their government told their people to bomb you
Yeah,
That's not even the same government
through a
anymore.
use
it's not.
of propaganda,
Yeah,
Now
to
they give
convince
us
them.
cat girls. Why are you mad?
right? So like,
Yeah,
and
look
that's
at
the
your fucking
thing.
computer screen.
Oh yeah, there's a guy who went around surveying just younger generations of Japan, and do you know how many of them didn't realize the survey was who bombed Pearl Harbor in the U.S. 98% of them were like, I think it was Germany. I think it was Britain. I think it was Sweden. I think it was
Turns
this
out
country. I think it
our
was this
country's
country.
lied to us the entire time. It actually was Germany.
Like,
You
they
have
are
no idea how
so
close you could technically be.
it's like
I mean,
busy
Whenever-
with their lives that shit doesn't matter.
the fact that
you know who
when-
actually bombed Pearl Harbor?
Huh?
God, I'm probably gonna get so much shit for
Oh,
this. It was
no.
America.
Oh God, it was
The
an
fact-
inside
It
job.
was an inside job.
The fact that when Pearl Harbor happened, there was concentration camps in America for Japanese people is a problem.
Yes. And that people to this day still back that as a choice. There are people in this country now, in our age group, that if we went to war with another country right now, would vote to have concentration camps. Motherfucker, Trump has
hold
essentially
on.
pushed for Mexican concentration camps.
Hold on.
I think he had
He's
some.
created them.
Hold on. What about whenever COVID came out and all these fucking like Japanese people were getting the shit beat out of them by us
The
because
Jewish people.
because it was the COVID came from the Japanese.
And it was the Chinese.
Yeah.
Well,
the
either
Chinese.
way,
Like the ability for something to happen and it originates in another country and then people like, I hate all those motherfuckers over there. They all wanted this. They all did this. They all banded together. Like, are you fucking okay? Are you okay?
we can't even get
You
our own
think that-
fucking country to band together, and we're supposed to be the nicest fucking country in the world.
You
but
think
no.
that 80 million people were like, I'm gonna fuck up Pearl Harbor right now.
Let's get in plans to do
mean,
it.
it's like-
Let's all get together and fuck those Hawaiian people.
And let's kamikaze this
Let's
shit.
kamikaze. Let's kill ourselves in the process. You think that was a public decision?
And it's like all the kids in Russia who are going to war right now who didn't want to go.
Like the people that even did the like kamikaze and killed themselves, they did it because they thought it was honorable.
Yeah, because they were brainwashed
I mean, that's how
Yeah.
into thinking
suicide
that
bombers are.
it was
Yeah.
the only way to have any sort of honor
Yeah.
was to kill yourself.
Oh,
right?
God damn, I'm gonna go out. I won't be back, guys. I'm gonna go get me some honor.
He'll be back. Wrong
Are you
tune.
trying to say that he's never going to have honor?
He'll be back in his true form as a real ghost. This is the things
He
that
is a real ghost.
if you're listening to this right now, you got to think about this
They
because
probably hate us.
the way the country is going right now, and not just ours, but across the world, it's almost like everybody's being ramped up for this idea that we should all go to war, that we all have something to fight for. And it's like, motherfucker, I've been fighting my whole life just to have a pot to shit in. Okay?
And I find it weird that like, so we have so many people in our country right now that are like struggling. Even people who were financially well off like 3-4 years ago, right?
Yeah.
We got so many people who are struggling now just to make sure that their house doesn't get taken away. But whenever that little issue started,
You talking about Russia and Ukraine?
no, not that.
Oh,
one.
I was going to
Not
say, that's
that.
a big issue.
I'm talking about we just. I mean, neither one of them are really a little issue, but like we went and we funded all the Russian and Ukraine shit, right?
Right.
And then now we have that Islam and
Hamas.
Hamas,
Israel
right?
and Hamas.
And our president wants to take $15 billion and go fund that too.
Why?
Well,
I mean,
because
he's-
we're in NATO, and they're
They've
in
already
NATO.
sent carriers over there with people and
Yeah.
Like, I get
Delta
it.
Force.
if-
Did you see that shit? I'm sorry.
No.
Delta Force. You know what that is?
Sounds like a
Wasn't
terrible
it a
movie.
It's like an elite group of military people that go in without being noticed, or people don't know who they are.
Oh, we noticed
they go
you.
In, they go in to not be seen, basically.
Right.
To do things. The president's pages, like social media, posted Delta Force's faces and tattoos on their social media.
No, they didn't.
They did. It was up for like 10 minutes. Hundreds of thousands of people saw it, and then they
Screenshot
took it.
it.
Down. They took it down, reposted it with black squares over their faces and over their tattoos.
Oh yeah.
How
Delta
dumb!
Force leaked. White House faces backlash for accidentally revealing identity of U.S. troops.
Can we
in
just
Israel.
make that should be the most obvious thing in the world, right?
Maybe
like
we
the
should get
people
those
running
fuckers out of the house.
the running the country is done by people who have no business running a fucking country.
Like it is the simplest thing. Cover their face
Don't show Delta Force at all.
at all.
Excuse me, Yakov. Diss
Images.
you? No, that's not that.
No.
Hey, look, I can still find the pictures.
Oh
Yes, it's
no!
everywhere.
Wait a minute.
Of them
Are
shaking
you saying?
the president's hand in this room with all the politicians.
Are
Like,
you saying
kidding
that
me?
if it goes on the internet, it's on the internet forever?
Yes.
I wish somebody would have told the president that.
Well, it
Oh,
wasn't even
and
him
then
that
I
posted
found-
it. It was his social media team.
Now I found new things.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah, I know it
It's
wasn't
his
the
fault,
president.
though.
It's
But
not even his fault. He probably doesn't even know how to maneuver a goddamn
But
smart.
it's-
I bet fucking Biden still has a flip phone at this
He probably
point.
doesn't even- he's probably not
Dude,
even
he's
allowed
probably
to have
got
a
one
phone.
of those.
Have you ever met a motherfucker that age that uses a smartphone?
It's a Firefly.
He's probably got a rotary phone in his house. That's all he gets to use.
But I'm just saying,
Send a text message with that.
Wait, how do you get F? Is it 6 or
all the
Oh.
motherfuckers running this country, Congress, Senate, you name it, if you had just a tally, hey, pull out your phone, let me see what you're using. It's probably a Motorola Razr.
If you have had to have your grandchild explain to you how to use your smartphone,
You're out.
you don't need to be in
You're
Congress.
out. We got to start doing that. The test that's like, can you function on current tech? Like,
just it's the simplest thing. Cover their face, and you couldn't even do that.
well, then there was that whole thing with Trump where he like brought
Or
the
how about-
briefcase that had all the
Look.
nuclear codes or whatever to a fucking golf resort and then accidentally left him there.
He didn't accidentally do that. That's why he was being indicted.
He did it on purpose.
That was a whole thing.
Yeah, but he didn't go to jail.
Well, hold on. Even if you do edit their faces out, there's programs where you can go undo the editing.
yeah.
So this is kind of a thing that they talk about in nursing school when you're, a fresh baby nurse, and they're like, social media can get your ass in trouble. Do not take a picture at work and post it to social media, because no matter what you do to it, you can track it. You can find the people who are in the background, even if you don't post their name. It's as simple as that.
It is-
Why are we posting pictures
My
of people
freshman
who are
year in
supposed to be
college, we went
confidential?
over like how you can snip and sketch something, do all these edits, and literally undo it.
It is the reason why when you were in the military and you were deployed or on military bases or establishments in any way, you are not supposed to take any pictures, because the smallest speck of something can be found. I watched a TikTok of a guy that literally had like one wall, and he figured out exactly where it was.
Yeah.
And he does it all the time. People will challenge him. They'll
There's
take a
shit
video and a
encoded
picture.
in those files. Like, people don't realize a photograph isn't actually a photograph on the internet. That photograph is a code. It's a bunch of ones and zeros that, yeah, they translate a
We'll go
picture.
back to the
But those
Polaroids.
ones and zeros also contain information.
Or the fact, hang on, this is funny to me. Back in, what year was it? 1968, whenever the race for the moon was going on or whatever.
Oh, it would have been like 63.
The moon
Something like that.
landing.
63.
But they didn't even realize that them going over a piece of paper with black Sharpie could still be read if you held it up to a light.
Jesus
They
Christ.
didn't even realize that. People were just holding it up to the light and being able to read everything on it. So they had to completely change their way of blacking out information.
And this is why, if you're listening internationally, understand the American people themselves, like the unbrainwashed ones. So I think we got a couple of years left before they finally find a way to brainwash us, right?
Hit your VR.
We don't hate you. We love you. And the people that you hate because your government told you hate them, you probably don't actually hate those people. And if you got together on a fucking cruise ship, could enjoy a nice dinner together and have conversation.
I don't know. There are
There
some
is
places over there,
context
like,
to that. He's not just
not
randomly
stealing
pulling a cruise
Americans.
ship out of his ass.
Yeah. Like, that's what we did on our honeymoon. We went on
We
a
did.
cheap cruise. And
Yeah, Alyssa doesn't do
I
that.
mingled with others, other people from other countries, other races, other individuals. Like, culture is good. And it's good to understand shit from other people's viewpoints.
Hold on, that's the only time we allow him to have diversity is whenever he's on a cruise ship. Any other time, he's locked in his
I saw a video of a guy that walked around, dressed in like a poncho and a sombrero.
Sombrero?
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 And he would walk up to a Mexican person and be like, "Does this offend you?" And they'd be like, "No, like that's awesome, like that's great."
But he walked up to the white people.
Exactly. A white person, and they're like, "That's offensive. I'm offended by that," and everybody else that's in that culture would be offended.
That's
No,
that's
the fuck they're not.
that's this Karen mentality, right? Like, stop speaking for others unless they ask for your help. And then when people in this country do ask for help, like, I don't know, Black Lives Matter, they asked for help. They were literally out there, peacefully protesting in a lot of situations, saying, "We have this issue. Please listen to us. Please help us." Feel like those motherfuckers don't know what they're talking about.
There's I think like a Netflix special or something like that about somebody that is investigating the Black Lives Matter like
Well, yeah,
thing
a lot
because of all the money issues. Like, where is that money going to?
Yeah, a lot of the destruction that happened in those,
Not
like if you talk to
Tennessee.
people, it's going to the Federal Reserve.
Lord. Oh,
Did you just say Hennessy?
she did.
You are canceled. You're fucking canceled. You canceled. We're all canceled now. Thanks a
God
lot.
damn it.
Look,
KFC was fun. To
oh, come on. Stop it. We're going to get canceled.
Publicity
I'm so
is
sorry for these two.
We are a household that loves stereotypes.
Yeah, stereotypes are hilarious to us just because, like, look, I understand that they can be damaging and they have real consequences, but a lot of the people we hang out in those cultures, we make light of it, right?
And that's why the stereotypes are so
I
hilarious.
found
Right.
out why how Colonel Sanders got the colonel in his name yesterday.
How's that?
Because, colonel is like a military term. Like, that's a rank in the
Yeah.
military. I was like, why is his name Colonel Sanders? Like, was he in the
You
military?
didn't realize that the whole, like, his original outfit, I think he was wearing military uniform.
No. His nickname was appointed by the governor of Kentucky.
For real?
Yeah, and it was just kind of like a joke, and then it stuck.
Oh, wow.
And so then he started using his face as, like, the symbol for KFC. So he bleached his goatee and his mustache white to match his hair, and he started wearing white, or it started off as a black suit, and then it switched to white suits.
Do you
only.
realize how fucked up that is, though? Because during that time period, racism was very alive and well, and colonels that dressed that way were usually running for the opposite team.
Yeah.
They were literally the
Well,
racist colonels.
I think it was established in, 1960, I think was when KFC was established.
But it was modeled after something quite a few years before that.
Well, he started his business, I think, in 1940. His original business. And then he
That's-
started a franchise of KFC.
So let's let that transition to another point here and how control works, right? Words have control,
No, they don't.
but they do.
No, they don't.
They can actually pilot entire cultures and civilizations into different directions.
No, they don't.
Well, then give me your argument.
Well, they just don't.
That's a great argument.
Exactly. They don't.
Like racist terminologies, for instance.
There's no such thing.
There's a lot of people in those cultures that I hang out with that they don't care about the racist words because if everybody uses them,
Careful now.
I said the people I hang out with in those cultures.
Careful.
He's got black friends. He told that today.
I was trying to refrain from saying that. Using those words in those groups of people, they hand out what's called a G card or anything like that, where it's like, you can say the word around me, it's cool, bro. Like, I know you don't mean it in disrespectful ways. But the idea of words being used like that, you got to think for a minute. Like, you're creating barriers in which for you to be controlled in.
I have a question. This is off topic. You can finish your thought.
Yeah,
but
just if you don't give words power,
Morgan Freeman.
you cut off a lot of the control and the propaganda puppet mastering that happens.
right.
Morgan Freeman.
So this is like, so
Is that a new form of Tourette's?
No. Morgan Freeman. He was in
Hang
an
on,
interview.
you're interrupting.
no, it's fine. Go
Oh,
ahead.
she's gonna forget.
It had to go with that. Morgan Freeman, he was in an interview and they asked him about how he felt about Black History Month and stuff like that. And he doesn't approve it because,
Every day should be.
every day should be celebrated life. Every day, he goes, would you want it, would you enjoy it if your entire culture and race was just simplified down into one fucking month?
Mhm.
And the guy was white, and he goes, well, no. He goes, then why the fuck would I?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman.
that's
Yes.
control though. By pushing it down into that, right? You can just focus on all the positives of that culture, and then it gives you just enough time to skeet out of there before any of the negatives come out.
Before anyone brings up like all the people that were lynched for things they didn't do and
Right. Yeah. But that's control. It's narrative. They create the narrative on how that can be celebrated, how that can be done, what words can and can't be said, and it
So-
creates these walls.
Speaking of words that can and can't be said,
Say it.
the movement, or not movement, but like how black people were wanting to be called instead of black. I'm not black. I'm African American.
Right.
But are you really? Like, that term is used for someone that comes from Africa and has migrated to.
Okay,
Hang on.
you're getting.
No, hang on. Because
I know where she's going.
because you are not African American. You are American now. You were born and raised in America. You originate, like your ancestors are from Africa, but you are not African American. Just like someone is not German American or whatever.
I'm not European American.
Not European American.
I'm not Indian American.
Right.
No, you're
Okay.
Asian American.
Let me
That's what I'm like. I
let
don't
me break down
understand-
to you why it is that way, at least from the viewpoint and the cultural experiences I've had. Okay. Africans in America were never treated like fucking Americans. And to this day, there's still systemic racism built into our government and our culture. So they already feel like they're not welcome here, even though they were born and raised here.
Right.
So
So how would making that gap
by bringing
bigger,
attention to the fact that they're ostracized, it makes people have to use a word that relates more to respect.
Yes, but you're also making that gap bigger by going.
You're drawing attention to the fact that we're not black, we're American,
exactly.
we're African Americans. You're bringing attention to, you know what? Yes, my skin's a different color than you, but
Well-
we're still fucking here.
Exactly. So why bring in the term used whenever moving from
For
that
the same
place?
reason that it's Black Lives Matter versus All Lives Matter.
I understand, but like, do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Why not, instead of going I'm African American, going I'm American? Damn it! Treat me as an American. I am American. Instead of going there's a little bit of a gap there. I am African American. I'm not fully American. I am still African American.
Why wouldn't they just be called All Lives Matter then?
That's different.
Well, if you notice, there are a lot of black people who don't agree with Black Lives Matter.
Yes. While that's true, the purpose of Black Lives Matter is to draw attention. And just like anything, religion, politics, anything, there are extremes, right? And the difference comes in to where the message gets skewed. For religious individuals, it's this idea of eternal life, and the only way to get there is through this word, and if you're not following it, you're going to hell, right? So that's an extreme of Christianity where they're willing to go out, break their own Bible's rules because they're just trying to save you, right? So with Black Lives Matter, there were extremist groups in this, and then there were also individuals involved in this that had nothing to do with Black Lives Matter, and they wanted to make it look a certain way. Like if you talk to anybody from, what was it in St. Louis, the Ferguson incident, I've talked to the people who live there. The people who were burning shit down, breaking shit, destroying everything, they literally came in from out of state.
Yeah.
Some of them weren't even black.
I feel like there's not enough color in this room to be having a conversation like
I was
this.
thinking that too.
Well, I agree.
I was thinking, Ghost, you need to call your friend.
Yeah, I was literally.
I could probably put David on here right now and call him up and get his insight into this. Maybe that's what we'll do on the next one is call up some of our friends that are deep within these cultures and get their viewpoints on it. Like, but, and maybe that's what we ought to do at this point is get.
The bigger, blacker episode.
Oh, Lord.
We need a couple more microphones. I think this would be a really interesting.
Okay,
conversation.
well, you heard it here. We're going to have a bigger, blacker episode. Yep, this is where we go,
Sorry,
not
Cards
just down.
Against Humanity.
You know what happened here? First, we pissed off the government. Then we pissed off other people within our own communities. We're going to skyrocket to the top of the
I was gonna
charts,
say,
baby.
this is how
Hell
we go
yeah.
viral.
and then we're gonna immediately get canceled.
I'm not saying that like anything against race or anything. I'm just wondering
No.
why they decided to use that term because I feel like
There's
it
a lot of
makes
people who
more of a
don't.
gap. You know what I mean?
Well, that's like
there are a
the
lot of people who don't. There are a lot of people who say, I'm black. You have met several of them because they're not African Americans.
some of the most racist people I've met were black people from other countries that come from Africa or come from Jamaica, and then they come
actually
here.
Despise that term.
Yeah, they despise the African American term that's used here. They're like, no, I'm fucking African American. These people are American.
Jamaica
Right.
isn't in Africa.
I'm talking about the African people we
Jamaican
talk to.
American.
Like, it's not just you who wonders about it, but there's a reason, right? That's what empathy is. You got to try to understand why it's happening that way. And if you want to know, asking 3 other white people in the room is not going to get you the right answer.
No, I'm more on a podcast. That's the reason that we
Right.
say that
Yeah.
people can.
If you're a
message us and
listener,
answer these questions.
understand that we want to know why, and we will use that, your voice, and we'll translate it here for everybody in the world to hear on your viewpoints on why,
word for word.
word for word.
Yeah, we'll read it out of the messages. Otherwise, it kind of feels propagandy to
Yeah, we don't skew words. We don't do anything like, we're not even going to autocorrect if your spelling's wrong. We're going to say it just like you type it. So make sure you double check that.
But that kind of goes back to your like words don't have power, words have power argument. Like we can make the jokes that we make with our friends because there is a level of trust. Like they, at least I hope, understand that if we pop off with something racist in quotation marks, it's literally just pulling the irony out of the phrase.
I've heard some of the best jokes of my life that were white jokes.
They have white jokes.
They have white jokes. Well, my
How
favorite
dare
one was,
they.
what do dice and white people have in common?
Oh no!
I don't want to know.
You shoot them.
I've heard that
not
one
get
so
that
many
at
times.
I don't know what the fuck I just missed because I was messaging. But where I left off, I don't want to be part of this
It was
anymore.
the best white joke I've ever heard from a dude. It was what do white people and dice have in common? You shoot them. Like I was like, and like I laughed my ass off because that is a hilarious fucking racist joke, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that came from an area of malice with people who may have been wronged by different races or fell into the propaganda that, like, look, my buddy straight told me one day, he goes, "Hey man, I'm looking to buy this thing on Facebook. Can you
Don't
go
do it
with
as
us to
why."
meet it? Because it's kind of down in the sticks out in the country." And I was like, "Why do you want me to go?" He's like, "Because you're white." I'm like, why? Like, he's like, "I don't know, man. You know, he might have been a racist and was going to try to kill us or something. They was just trying to lure us out there." And I'm like, dude, like the fact that thought had to cross this individual's mind.
Well, I mean, it's the same with people around here.
They're terrified to
Going
go
into
up
the
into the city.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
terrified to go certain parts in the city.
And that's why it exists so hardcore still, is because, and we've talked about this with our friends who live in the city, like they're apprehensive to come into our area because the stereotype that everyone that lives in a small town in Missouri is a racist piece of shit and just wants to lynch them. Like they still believe that every small town in, you know,
Which don't-
rural America
don't-
is a sundown town.
Don't get it wrong. There are still towns
There
like
are
that.
still towns
But
like
that's
that.
the same way in the city. There's areas in the city that, you know, you're white and you come walking through, you better know somebody here.
Yes.
But they're shrinking. Those areas are shrinking down because less people give a fuck about any kind of propaganda bullshit. I can't imagine how much money the news has lost in the last 10 years. Because every time an old person dies, that's money that's coming out of their bank accounts. Because I don't watch the fucking news, do you?
No.
Do you watch the news?
I haven't watched the news.
Ghost,
since
have you
Hannibal
watched
was
the
maybe.
news?
The only thing I watch is Stay Tuned, and it's like little snippets of bigger issues.
But do you
going on.
watch MSNBC,
No.
CBS, NBC,
I
Fox
believe-
News, any of that shit?
Hold on, I believe.
Find me people in our generation that weren't born and raised on a fucking farm. Like our grandparents. Oh, fuck, grandma. You'd go over there in the evening. I think just a couple years ago, she kind of stopped watching it.
She still watches the news.
But she'd have fucking CBS or MSNBC up there watching as they're going over all the political bullshit. Stop it. All of that is fabricated bullshit to get them more views. It's a viewpoint. It has a bias.
Not even that. Like every
Stay
news.
Tuned is ran
news-
by NBC.
I was gonna say every news station is run by generally the same people.
Yes.
NBC.
You can find videos where they are stating the exact same thing, word for word, on every news station.
Yep. Well, and what you're talking about is the video that went around where it's local news stations. So, like, there's national news channels where they broadcast to the country, and then you have local news channels like K blah blah blah, and
KTUI,
KTUI, and KMOV, Like, those are St. Louis news channels that only broadcast to the St. Louis area.
Yeah.
Oh, really quick tidbit of information that I didn't know if you guys knew. But did you know that the weather, when it says 80% chance of rain,
I taught this to Sweet Pea probably like a month ago.
80% chance of rain does not mean there's an 80% chance of rain.
No, it's
It's
It will
80% of the viewing area is going to get rain.
Yes. It's not like an 80% chance that it might rain.
It's 100% chance that 80% of the viewing area is going to get rain.
Yep.
Oh. I didn't know that.
So when they say 80% chance rain, you go out and you're like, that's bullshit. They don't know what they're talking about. It didn't rain today. No, it did. 30 miles north of you, though,
Yeah.
which is also in their viewing area.
Like whenever you look at, say, our towns, it's 80% of our town will get rain.
Now,
Yeah.
hold on.
Yep.
Hold on.
Yes.
So whenever I just go to the weather app, right?
Yep.
I got that.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
it just says my location.
You bourbon.
I wasn't going to say that, but okay.
Good one.
There's a.
I can bleep it, but I don't give a fuck, right?
Honestly.
So whenever it says
Doxing.
30% chance of rain just in Bourbon, so there's a 35% chance of rain on Thursday.
35% of bourbon will get rain that day.
35
Yep.
I'm going to find the percentage that's not going to get rain on that day and just go stand over there.
Good luck. 'cause
That's
they don't know
probably
where
like a
that's at.
scattered showers day or something like that
Yeah.
where,
Well, also, you have to remember that the information from the weather app comes from a central source.
right, they're not sitting there calculating just Sullivan, just Cuba, just Rolla, just this, just that. It's
right.
all within a
Let's
viewing
go to
area.
the weather map. So if I...
That's why whenever you want to see if like you're gonna get rain, you gotta look at the radar
Correct.
because it'll show where it's going over. And
Well,
Also-
today,
And
there
also,
is no rain.
if you
I
wanna
also
know if you're
found-
gonna get gate, you have to look at the gator.
I also found out
Correct.
another piece of information.
something broke.
I thought I heard yelling prior to something
You
breaking.
did.
Do
You
I
did.
need to go...
Do you want to go
Yes,
lay down the
investigate
hand of
Uncle
God?
Ghost.
All right, let's take a break.
taking a break for just a second? Okie dokie. That's
It's not any of those buttons. This is probably the only piece that people listen for. It's for Van to hit all the random buttons.
And the police is still going off. There we go.
I shut it off. It's getting worse out there.
The hand of God is passing the judgment.
Understand that we are.
We're taking a break.
real people.
Understand that we're taking a break.
I'm just going to give a quick message to the people during that break. And that message is, if you hate us now, please
That's okay.
send us hate mail
We
to
still love you.
DFWAI.podcast@gmail.com.
Yes.
Hit up our socials, right? You can find us. It might take a little bit of extra effort on
ahead.
your part.
Click that little three dots. Click that, and then go to report. Go for hate speech.
Yeah, whatever you got to do there, just let us know that you're listening, even though you hate us, right? And the worst part about being a podcaster and you know airing this stuff out for millions of people to listen to is maybe you don't agree with us on any of these topics. Maybe there's one of them that just really pissed you off. I'm not sorry it pissed you off, but I want to hear your response. I want to hear why you're mad about it.
Honestly, though, like that goes into. I don't want to say I don't know any better, but like some topics I don't know all the information
Ignorance.
Ignorance.
Yeah. And you messaging us and informing us could help that.
Yeah, it's called being cultured.
Yeah.
You know, giving us your viewpoints, hearing your responses, interacting with you. Like, there's a point in this where we would all like to actually be able to do like live, and then interact with our audience, things of that nature, give feedback. You know, I don't know. It's something that we want to do. We're just trying to figure out how to do it in the right way, right? So.
First off, we have to have more than just Garrett listening.
Yeah, Garrett, you the OG boy. Daddy loves you. Anyways, seriously, hit us up. Let us know. Give us a thumbs up, thumbs down on this. Just let us know you're there, right? And if this really pissed you off, show all your friends. Get them pissed off about it. Just get them all riled up and let them share it with their friends. Right? Just blow this shit up. I want to be on the FBI's radar
You already
We already
are.
are.
tomorrow on Thursday, because you're listening to this on a Wednesday. I mean, the FBI is already listening, but look, this is common knowledge, and the people who are listening to this probably are like, you know what? That's fucked, but they're probably right. No, we are right. We are right. We are right when it comes to the government shit. But you know what? You should share it so that way they can find it out there in the open, so they'd be like, fuck, now everybody else knows. Right? Just do something. Just do something. Quit sitting there. What are you, some kind of lazy American?
You know, it's funny. We're
What?
telling all these people to share our shit, but we don't even do it.
What do you mean? I do it all the time.
I've not seen you share anything.
I used to share it all the time.
Used to.
I share it. I go in here and I click it and I upload it to the air and I share it with the whole world.
In my defense, the only people that I see outside of this house are at a Catholic hospital.
Yeah.
Actually, that's not true. VR chat, where we encounter tons of different people every time we get on. It's in my bio. I talk about it. I go out there and I represent us.
I really have to pee.
So, anyways, we love you. And there's a piece of information here I want you to know. If you hate your life and shit's rough right now, we care about you. You are good enough. You are loved. Okay? It's bad now, but it'll only get better. That's what we're fighting for. That's what everybody's fighting for. An easier, more enjoyable lifestyle. And right now, maybe things don't seem enjoyable.
We care about all of our DFWAI Garretts.
Yeah. It will get better. Life will not always be terrible in the spot that you're in now. I feel like we should share the 1-800 number right now. Do you know it off the top of your head? The suicide prevention hotline number.
Why are you putting me on the spot?
We'll share that here too. I'm sure there's good memories you can think back on. You're a good person listening to this right here, right now. Maybe you've made some bad choices, but that doesn't mean you're a bad person, right?
In America, it is 988.
You just type in 988 and it takes you to the suicide prevention.
Yes, you can also send a text message. And
Okay.
it's not just suicide prevention. I mean, it is primarily suicide prevention, but you can utilize that line for most crises. So if you're having a mental health issue, you can text 988. Oh my God, why can I not say it? 988, and a live person will come on. They will chat with you through whatever it is you're going through. They'll try to help you find some resources to use, whether it's, a way to get therapy or it's just a link on the internet that has some nice ideas on how to work through stuff.
Yeah.
I've used it in the past and it worked wonderfully when I didn't have anyone else to talk to.
Oof. It will get better. You're cared about. Again, you're loved. 988. Text or call that number if you're feeling down, if you need somebody to talk to. They'll help you out there. There's resources. Now, we're still waiting on Ghost to come back, so
Was
for your
there
listening.
blood out there?
No. Stern talking to, though.
Do you know what happened?
Mm-mm.
Oh. Hey, you found it.
That's not the right one. It's a very short one.
This just in. Van's a bitch.
Fuck my PSA?
Fuck your PSA.
Okay.
Shit.
What?
I was supposed to take Delilah to go get a PSL today.
What is that?
She didn't remember. She's too far up a new girl's butt.
Pumpkin spice latte.
Oh my God, we had a whole fucking conversation about that yesterday. She called it a PSI. I was like,
A PSI?
yeah. She goes, oh, Mom's gonna take me to get a PSI tomorrow. I'm like, a what? She goes, a PSI from Starbucks. I'm like, what's a PSI from Starbucks? And she goes, pumpkin spice latte. I was like, that doesn't work.
Yeah, that's because it's not a PSI. It's a PSL. Speaking of PSI, have you put air in my tires?
No, he has not.
No, I sure didn't.
It's a good
Well-
thing you're not going to work today.
It's a good thing I'm
Alright.
not a traditional woman.
Okay.
My own damn tires.
I think Callie wants to get back home,
Yeah,
snuggle her potato.
Yeah, she got to watch him spread his butt cheeks on the toilet.
probably.
Mm.
Is that like a thing now? You got to watch him do
I
it.
kind of wish he came this episode so I could ask him about it.
I told him about who was it in the group chat that said that they did it too, and he was like, "Yes, my people."
All right, we've pissed you off enough for one day. I think we're gonna call it here.
No.
Thanks for listening.
No, we're not.
Yep.
No.
Share it with your grandma.
Oh, we didn't call Ben.
You want to do that real quick? We'll go out on Ben's note.
Yeah, we'll see.
See if he even answers. Maybe he's learned. Maybe he hasn't.
He,
This is
he
Ben.
doesn't care.
Of Ben's mom.
Hold on, I have to get through all these spam calls.
You can just type it into search.
Yeah, I know.
Ben's mom's son. I know that's what it's under.
There's got to be like a limit where that becomes so like what you're doing now to find his number becomes so inconvenient that you give up. Hit the contact button right at the
Yeah,
bottom.
there it is.
Okay. I almost was able to just describe the whole process of finding it easier.
He's not going to answer today.
Oh, he will.
I don't know. I think he's actually on some kind of like vacation.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
There is no vacation.
We'll leave him a voicemail.
Thank you for choosing Ben's Auto Detailing. We are currently assisting other customers or on a job site. But if you can leave your name, a brief message, and a phone number, we will get back to you as soon as possible.
Wow,
Thank you.
hey.
Have a wonderful day.
That's
He's
good.
got a
That's his
pretty
own
voice.
ad.
Please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for
I
more
wonder if he
options.
did this just for us.
Hey, Ben's mom, what's up? You're on the air,
If you are
Ben.
satisfied with your message, press 1.
That's it. That's it. Just send that.
Press 3 to continue recording where you left off. Press 4.
Do that one. You got to
At
talk
the
because it
tone,
can't.
Please continue recording. At the end of your message, press 1.
Ben's mom, we're live on the air, and we were just calling to get some quotes from you.
Yeah, we want you on the air. You got to keep talking.
Yeah, we want you on the air. So if
Yeah, this is your ad spot, bud.
yeah, this is your ad spot. But I guess we're gonna go ahead and close out the podcast today, and we'll try again next
Your
week.
voicemail did all.
Bye,
the work for him.
Dad.
Bye, Dad. My voicemail, what?
His voicemail did all the
Yeah,
work
your
for him.
voicemail box did all the work actually, so that was pretty phenomenal.
Just record an ad spot on there if you're going to continue to ignore our calls.
You're gonna start ignoring us.
Your
You sh-
voice is beautiful, Ben.
Yeah, everybody says your lovely voice is beautiful. So
I like your feet.
give us a call back to give us a quote. I've been trying to reach you for several weeks now
About your car's extended warranty.
Yeah, about your car's extended warranty. Yeah, callback number is 1636.
Oh, wow. He just hung up mid-phone number. Fuck you, dude. All right, that's all we got. Thanks for bearing through it. I know there was not a whole lot of funny in this episode, but that's not
over
exactly what you came here for.
Don't
Don't
fucking
fucking
worry
worry
about
about
it.
it.
Thank you for being a friend.
Down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the
All my friends, yellow low rider.
It's too fast. How could you even tell what's on? I can tell. Stop there, it is.
Mom?
Mom?
Mommy.
Mom?
Ooh, mommy.
Scataboosh, can you do the fandango?
Oh boy.
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah.
He's gay
No.
for pay.
Yeah. I mean, if it pays well
Pay for
enough.
pay.
Less.
Bye.